And here we go in Boulder with Buck Buchanan to get it away to Jaron Hamilton, who signals for a fair catch. So here we go. Jeff Sims makes his third straight start for the injured Sam Levin. Top 100 recruit in the same class as Bryce Young. Burst onto the scene, as you said, Kirk, as a true freshman at Georgia Tech, a year at Nebraska. And it's exceedingly rare in this day and age for a guy with this much experience to, at the end of last year, decide to stay knowing he'd be the backup.
Yeah, and he's found himself into a great position right now, possibly leading these Sun Devils to a conference championship game.
Zero is in motion. That's Jordan Tyson in his return. And we've got a stoppage before the first snap.
Yeah, to get the kicking tee off the field first, Mike.
You can't forget that.
Can't forget that. See, Ralphie doesn't fetch those. I think the more you can do, Ralphie.
We have some mascots around the country that do, like at NC State last night for their game against Florida State. Tyson again in motion, and it's a give to Raleek Brown to start, wrapped up by Tawfiq Byard. Take a look at tonight's impact players brought to you by Pizza Hut, including one of the top running backs in the conference.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Raleek Brown and Shimon Matera, outstanding tight end, NFL-type potential. Amarian Miller on the opposite side, wide receiver for Colorado. And Tawfiq Byard, yes, that's right, the safety. Going to call his name a lot, number 7 in the black jersey.
Leading tackler for a Colorado defense that has been ravaged by injuries. Out of the pistol, zone read, and Brown gets dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Keaton Wade, the senior defensive end, last year transferred in from Kentucky for a loss of 4.
Yeah, nice job by Keaton Wade. He just went right down with the offensive line. He got 2 pullers and went with the pullers, and he had a running back right there in his lap. Nice job of playing the play was Keaton Wade.
Third down and long for Arizona State on the first drive. Four-man rush, and Sims fires incomplete across the middle. Way beyond Derek Eusebio, and it's 4th down, and Colorado forces a punt.
Yeah, that's a nice job. 3 and out on your opening possession for the Colorado defense. We had a chance to see them yesterday. A lot of guys going through, a lot of injuries on that back end. But the one thing they're excited about is that guys are on the same page. We saw that yesterday at the walkthrough. That's a great start, 3 and out for the Colorado defense.
And for Rob Livingston's defense, as Kenyon Floyd, the sophomore from Scottsdale, comes out, and he gets it away to the true freshman, Quinnell Farrakhan, for just outside the 30, made a couple miss and got a block around the edge, and it will be excellent. Starting field position in plus territory for the Buffs. Well, stay with us on the Colorado quarterback carousel. 3-man competition. Told you Caden Salter won the job. He played in week 2. They all played in that game. From there, veteran backup Ryan Staub earned a start for week 3 against Houston, but he struggled, so they went back to Salter. And then 3 weeks ago, Salter faltered against Arizona. Staub went in, and then Julian Lewis got his chance, and now his first start here in Boulder.
And all he's done is protect the football. The young true freshman quarterback, he wasn't ready. They said they told us he was not ready to start this season. That's just a young true freshman. The time is now. We've gotten to November, and he's ready to roll.
And he's going to the air to start his day as he fires to the wide side of the field and got it complete for a short gain to Joseph Williams. Yeah, what a weekend for Colorado quarterbacks. We told you a year ago yesterday, Juju Lewis commits here. He committed in large part because of Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders makes his first start in the NFL tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a lot, right? Shedeur is in the recruiting process of bringing him along. Come on, Julian, come on. They finally got him. And now it's all about his development in his second career start.
He's under pressure. Lewis has handled this well so far. He's directed and firing downfield, and a drop from Omarion Miller, the best skilled player for the Buffs.
That's just a drop. And no, he doesn't want anybody to say he's a little bit banged up. I know he's got an issue with his hand, but this is one of those plays that Omarion Miller makes with his eyes closed. He's that type of receiver, and I know he's upset himself. It could have been a big play early on.
Yeah, the junior is coming off the best 2-game stretch of his career. Back-to-back huge games against Arizona and West Virginia before the Colorado bye. So now 3rd down and 8 for the Buffs. Lewis around the edge, and he gets ushered out of bounds right near the line of scrimmage by the top tackler for Arizona State in Keyshawn Elliott, and it brings up 4th down.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Elliott. He's one of their best players defensively, and the one thing that you can say is that you'll see it right there with Julian Lewis. He's not necessarily a runner. He's a scrambler. He'll try to extend the play a little bit, but he's not trying to get out of the pocket to run for yardage, and that time just ran out of bounds almost.
And that's one of the big differences between him and Caden Salter. I mean, there's strengths and weaknesses to both, but Salter in part won the job because of the dual threat ability.
Yeah, his ability to run and take off and grab yards, that is not in the game of Julian Lewis.
25-year-old Aussie Damon Greaves, the Kansas transfer, gets one away to the young Zachariah Sample, who lets it bounce into the end zone for a touchback, but we got a flag down right around the plus 35-yard line. Gives us a chance to check in with his Big 12 crew for the first time, led by referee Kevin Marr.
There is no foul on the play. Immediate timeout.
So there you have it. 3 minutes in, a stop on both sides. Deion Sanders against Arizona State. Year 3 for Deion Sanders. They're 3-7 here in Boulder. Year 3 as well for Kenny Dillingham, who told us our back is so far against the wall, we've got to hold ourselves up first. He said, someone might come to rescue us in the Big 12, but you have to win tonight.
Yeah, you got to win. You lose, all the talk is gone. You win tonight, and you stay in the conversation for another week.
That's the goal for Arizona State. It's 7-3 overall and 5-2 in the clubbed up top of the Big 12. Jeff Sims goes spinning away from pressure and then tiptoes out of bounds just past the 20. Kenny Dillingham is barking for a late hit, and a flag does come out along the sideline. Looked like it might have been a late hit from Reggie Hughes, the veteran linebacker.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense number 50. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, that is Reggie Hughes, and just no need for it. I know he's running to the football, but has to have awareness on where you're at on the field. Watch 50 come in right here. Look, Sims is already out of bounds, and he didn't really truly make contact, but still enough contact on that sideline for that official to throw the flag.
For, again, an injury-plagued Colorado defense, and at linebacker, you're going to see more Reggie Hughes today because Jeremiah Brown's been banged up. We were told that Brown is emergency only today, so it is really thin at linebacker for Deion Sanders, Rob Livingston and company.
Yeah, Jeremiah Brown played a lot of plays last week, unavailable today, or in an emergency role. So a lot of guys flying through there today in that linebacking core.
So the ball to the 32, and we've got a flag that comes down right at the snap. Looks like it's going against Arizona State.
False start. Offense number 64. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, it's been injuries all over the place for Rob Livingston. He said to us yesterday, we're down 7 starters from how we began in week 1, including their best corner in DJ McKinney. Another starting corner, RJ Johnson's been out for the bulk of the year.
Yeah, to quote our director, Ed Curran, the impact player has been the trainers for Colorado. How many injuries they've had to deal with.
Brown with a cut, and he weaves out just shy of the 35. Yeah, the safety spot's been hit hard as well. Carter Stoutmeyer, Ben Finisette, the former walk-on, they're both unavailable today as well.
But it changes how Robert Livingston, the defensive coordinator, how he can call a football game, because you don't know who's available to you week to week. So sometimes you have this big, elaborate game plan, and a lot of times they get shrunk all the way down just to things that get you lined up.
On second down, Sims takes his check down across the middle to his trusty tight end, the former Buff for a few months, Shimon Mateer. Sean Myers in on the stop after 3, and it's third down.
Yeah, Mateer has really come along over the last couple weeks. He's a big play threat. I think he's got NFL type of ability, but he's the check down guy. He's sort of the safety blanket. But here you get to third down, and now Jordan Tyson comes on the field, number 0, lined up at the top of the screen.
He's matched up opposite Tion Parks. Tyson was on pace for 105 receptions in a 13-game season before the injury.
Let's see if they go to him here. He's over at the top, man-to-man.
Pressure comes. Sims has the one-on-one for Tyson. Down the sideline, and welcome back, Jordan Tyson, against his former school. A big gainer into plus territory.
Yeah, this is what I expected. Right there on John Slaughter. You get one-on-one on the outside. The first third down, they didn't go to him. I thought he had a mismatch. This time, Sims throws it out there, and you see Jordan Tyson, an outstanding job, not only contorting his body, grabbing that football, but if I get one-on-one with one of the best receivers in the country, I'm taking that matchup all day long.
How about that for Jordan Tyson? Don told us maybe about 30 snaps for a guy who typically does not come off the field. Sims pulls it, and Eusebio not ready for it on the slant on the RPO. So a year here for the Buffs in 2022. Been out the last 3 games with a hamstring injury. Came back to a running progression in practice this week. Not at 100%. Was officially a game-time decision, but you know this one means more to him.
Yeah, it means more to him, and you saw it after that first catch by Tyson. He did it right there on that Colorado sideline, and he's letting them know, the former Buffalo, you shouldn't have let me go. He wants this one bad.
42-yard pickup. Man Robinson, freshman running back, checks in behind Sims. He's got the one-on-one, looking for Malik McLean, just out of his reach. Ivan Yates, the corner, had the coverage, and it's third down. Well, yardage has not been a problem for Arizona State's offense this year. Kenny Dillingham has talked about how productive they've been moving the football. But when they get to the red zone, just outside of it here, finishing drives has been the key.
Yeah, you read my mind. That's the first thing I'll say as they get closer into that red zone. When this field is constricted, how are they able to find ways to create space, to create matchups? A lot of times they do it with the tight end, but Eusebio, 83, has been the guy who's came alive in the last couple weeks.
The tight end, Mateer, is lined up for protection. Sims under heat, and it's incomplete. All kinds of pressure from Arden Walker and company on Sims, and it's fourth down.
Yeah, perfectly timed blitz by number 13, John Slaughter. He gave up the play earlier to Tyson, but this time he comes scot-free, and he's the one that got into the face of Sims and made him have to rush that throw.
So Kenny Dillingham will send out Jesus Gomez, fifth-year senior kicker from Puebla, Mexico, transfer from Eastern Michigan, for a try from 39. Tyler Wigglesworth has taken over the last few weeks as the long snapper. Canyon Floyd, the punter, is the holder. And Jesus Gomez's kick is good, and Arizona State strikes first. Jordan Tyson with the big gainer, and the Sun Devils, 25th in the country, are on the board. Of course, we're on Ralphie 7 now, new this season. Nicknamed Brandy, took a liking to the song by Looking Glass from 1972. We'll see a couple of those mascots next week on ABC in Rivalry Week. The Egg Bowl, we're all wondering what Lane Kiffin's going to do. Then 3:30 Eastern, Georgia Tech, who, by the way, right now is getting thumped. And we end the day with A&M and Texas at 7:30.
Is this as big as, like, remember LeBron's decision? Like Kiffin's announcement. Right, I can't wait for that, right? Is it as big as that, you think?
Maybe not that big, but it
college
is
football,
enormous.
Yeah, enormous for college football.
Especially with all the openings this year.
Correct.
And him being the #1 clear-cut candidate.
Kiffin's announcement.
It's coming on Saturday, 1 week from today. Jesus Gomez boots one away for a touchback to Quentin Gibson. So we get another look at Colorado and Juju Lewis, who, again, it's his second start. The first one 2 weeks ago against West Virginia. Maybe not the best first quarter, but from there, Deion Sanders said to us yesterday, Juju really settled in.
Yeah, he settled in because he finally just kind of took a breath and took what was there. He throws an unbelievable ball, meaning that everything that he throws, it seems to be a catchable football that allows wide receivers, running backs, catch and run elements. It's not a catch, get to the ground. It's catch and get some yards after it.
He's got 2 running backs beside him. And Dallin Hayden and Draylon Miller, the converted wide receiver, who gets the carry here and bounces off the left side for a few yards. Run out of bounds by the corner, Keith Aveney.
I think you're going to see more of that, these 2-back sets. Not only does it help them in pass protection, but I think that's something I want to see Colorado do today. Establish a running game. Try to make things a little bit easier for Julian Lewis, but also some play action. If you get some play action, get those linebackers biting up, Julian Lewis can hit them over the top.
He has shown great accuracy. That's one of the big things we heard around this Colorado program here this weekend. Still the 2 running backs with Brett Bartolone calling the plays. Again, not Pat Shermer. Lewis Just looking for somewhere to go, and Lewis escapes. With a hesitation, gets popped down past the 30 by Ghost Rouser after Ford. It sets up third down and manageable.
That's a nice job by Lewis. You want to see more of it at times, but then you got to find a way to protect yourself. See, he goes to the progression and then finds a way to sneaks out the back. Gets a couple yards, and this is where he's got to learn how to slide. Okay, you love the effort, but this is where you got to protect yourself, learn how to slide.
It doesn't need to be taking that kind of hit.
No, that's punishment. You don't want that on the starting quarterback.
Third down and 3. Lewis to throw, and it's tipped and incomplete. Broken up by the nickel Montana Warren. Almost had an interception, and now it's fourth down, and out comes the punt unit.
Yeah, nice job by Warren. They just dropped in the zone. And so when you have a zone drop defensively, all eyes are on the quarterback. Julian Lewis's eyes took them to the football, almost the interception by Warren.
Biggest role of the career for Montana Warren. Brian Ward said they're really excited about his future. Brian Ward's defense forces another punt from Damon Greaves. Gets it away cleanly to the 21, and Sample is swung down immediately by Isaiah Harge, a two-way talent. Midway through the first quarter with 2 weeks to go in the regular season. The Sun Devils get it back after this. One student section can claim the title of Lipma Student Section of the Year. Who will take home the trophy this year? It's not even Thanksgiving, and we got Santa?
Yeah, well, it depends on your household, Mike.
Okay.
A lot of people have already brought out the Christmas decorations. Mariah Carey playing here at Folsom Field. So, yeah, it's already Christmas season, Mike.
At the foot of the Flatirons. Beautiful scene always here in Boulder. Arizona State gets it back in a shifty cut from Raleek Brown away from Tawfiq Byard. Off the right side for 2. This offense led by Jeff Sims. We asked Kenny Dillingham, were you surprised that Jeff Sims stayed to be a backup after last year? He said, yeah, he was. He had told Jeff Sims after last season, Sam Levitt's our guy. If you want to play somewhere else, I'm going to help you, but Jeff Sims stayed.
Yeah, and that's the experience and maturity. Because you know why? He was tired of moving all across the country, from Nebraska from Atlanta, Georgia Tech. Just want to be at home. Want to be somewhere where I can learn and develop even at this age.
He fires to the near side and has it complete to Derek Eusebio with third down coming up, Don.
Yeah, Mike, I actually talked to Jeff about that decision, and he told me he felt like he had learned and developed so much while he was here. He wanted another year to do that with the same staff, said he prayed about it, felt like it was the right decision, that he would finally get his opportunity, and here we are, guys. He is so grateful for every second.
Said he had a lot of experience already. The goal is to play on Sundays, so stay in the same system and learn and be ready to shine when you get your chance. Looked like there was movement early, maybe on the left side of the offensive line.
Looks like 53, Josh Atkins, left tackle.
False start. Offense number 53. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Costly when it was third down and 3. Your thoughts, Kenny Dillingham? That is blank bad, he says colorfully. So backs up Arizona State. Atkins, fifth-year senior from Arlington, Texas, in his second year with the Sun Devils after stops at Houston and Hawaii.
And here's Tyson right here. Jordan Tyson, he's at the bottom of the screen. So I'm looking, is there going to be safety help over the top for Ivan Yates? He's the corner to that side on Tyson.
Sims looking that way. Tyson trying to adjust and cannot make the catch. Through the contact from Yates. No flag, and Kenny Dillingham sprints 30 yards down the sideline, bellowing for a flag.
Well, that's just what I wanted to see, Mike. How would they handle Jordan Tyson on that third down, where he's a little upset because of the coverage by Colorado? Watch the bracket. You're going to have Yates, number 29, and then you see Tawfiq Byard, number 7. So they have a bracket on him, but that time underneath trying to get back to the football was Tyson. And I think you could have had a little bit of restriction by Yates there. You could have threw the flag on that one.
As they hunted for Tyson. Oh, snap back to Canyon Floyd. Arizona State has had shaky special teams, but it's a fair catch at the 35. from Farrakhan. Hey, kick off your Week 12 NFL Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew over on ESPN and the app. Then Monday Night Football, it's the Niners hosting the Panthers. 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the app. Peyton and Eli here on ESPN2 with Brock Purdy at the controls against Bryce Young coming off a big one.
How crazy that depending on what happens on Sunday night between Rams and Buccaneers, the Panthers could be playing for first place on Monday night. How about that? Remember, you're just talking about Bryce Young in the same class as Jeff Sims. And I think Brock Purdy may have been in that class as long as he stayed in college as well at Iowa State, back as a starter in San Francisco. But man, just I love football, and you never know when your opportunity is going to present itself.
It's 2 starts in a row, to your point, for Juju Lewis, who fires incomplete for his running back, Dallin Hayden, who had the linebacker, Jordan Crook, in coverage. Trying to get off to a good start. Deion Sanders said to us that in the first start 2 weeks ago for Juju Lewis, he sensed nerves early on. Pat Shurmur, not calling the plays anymore, but still the offensive coordinator, said the first quarter was mid. And everything was good from there offensively.
To me, it's just how do you get Julian Lewis into a rhythm early?
Hayden on the swing pass, wrapped up immediately by Kendrick Breedlove, the former Buffalo, who was here as a backup 2 years ago. So 3rd and long for Brett Barnalone, bearded behind the pole, who again is calling the plays now after he took over that role from Pat Shurmur.
Yeah, but how do you get Julian Lewis going early? That's how you do it. You try to get those short, quick screen throws, but a nice job by that defense of Arizona State being able to attack and catch it for a loss.
Colorado did not want to be behind the chains. They need 14 here on 3rd down. Hayden with a drop out of the backfield. Crook was on him anyway. It's 4th down and long, and Colorado will punt again here in the first 10 minutes.
And another 3 and out. They're just only going to rush 4. So they're going to rush 4. You mentioned, Mike, 3rd and long. They're going to get 4 rushers, 7 guys in coverage, and they're inviting Julian Lewis to do what? Throw the ball underneath. At some point, we saw this last week, they're going to have to try to find some vertical, explosive plays down the field.
3 possessions, 3 3-and-outs. Drives of 1 yard, 6 yards, and now negative 4 yards for the Bucs. Sample from just beyond the 20. Gets positive yardage to the 31. Let's take a look at the college football headlines presented by Harbor Freight. Notable Big 12 games today. Utah with a win against Kansas State, who had jumped out to a really fast start. Avery Johnson and company, that team rushed for nearly 500 yards and lost against the Utes.
Was there any defense played? I mean, you give up a 50 burger. I mean, 51-47. I thought we were playing defense in college football, but you mentioned it. Keeping our eyes on that BYU-Cincinnati game. That has a lot of ramifications of what happens next week for Arizona State.
Yeah, Don's going to dig into what the paths are for Arizona State to get to Arlington. But the clearest path absolutely involves Cincinnati getting a win against BYU here today for Kenny Dillingham and his bunch. Jeff Sims back to work, and this is Man Robinson. 5'9" true freshman for no gain, running right at the veteran defensive tackle, Anquin Barnes.
Yeah, you know what? I'm enjoying watching this defense of Colorado. So far, they've been able to stop the run early on and force Jeff Sims to have to throw the ball deep down the field. I mean, for a defense with all the injuries that we talked about all week long, been watching like how are they going to get a defense together to go against this offense? And right now, everybody's communicating, but they're also building a wall in the run game.
Sims to Robinson on the check down, and the ball's out. Loose along the sideline, and Colorado's got it. Sean Myers popped it out, and Keaton Wade's got the recovery for the Bucs.
Wow, what a job. I want you to watch Taufik Bergmeyer. He's our guy. Remember the impact player. Watch Seth just come in and throw the hammer down. That's how you hit. You get the ball knocked out, and you get the recovery. It's all about creating turnovers and opportunities. We just bragged on this defense. They finally got the turnover needed for their offense.
It's exactly what Rob Livingston, the defensive coordinator, said to us yesterday. We have to turn the ball over against Arizona State. They talk all the time about second man in. Go for the strip. Go for the peanut punch. And as Myers got in there first, Then Byard, the leading tackler on this team, forces it out.
And remember, Byard's playing with a club. So he's really out there playing almost one-handed, Mike. And he goes out there and creates the big opportunity for his offense, creating a turnover.
I wonder if replay is looking at this to ensure that Keaton Wade was inbounds on the recovery as well. Ball popped out, went behind man Robinson after it was forced out by Byard. And then just ensuring that Keaton Wade, I think, is what they want to know. Was he inbounds along the sideline to make the recovery?
Look, my first look at it, Mike, I think he gained possession of the football before a body part was out of bounds. I think that he got to the football, maintained possession, and then body part goes out. So let's watch this whole sequence. Balls on the ground, balls on the ground. He's watched 27 come in. See how he recovers the football right there. I think he's got possession. Right there, there's possession right toward the end of that. Now, when does the body part go out of bounds, or do we have a look that tells me?
So he's inbounds there.
He's inbounds. See, the knee's inbounds as well. Okay.
He gets possession right.
See, the feet are off the ground.
There, and I think the feet are off the ground. I think that's a clear recovery inbounds.
Well, and remember, the call on the field was that this was a fumble recovery inbounds. So we've got to find a definitive look that shows us something different. Because right now, it looks to me, I don't see that angle that, yeah, I'm going to agree that this is going to be a recovery inbounds. I would be shocked if they overturn this. I think this has to be upheld. Just not enough looks to say that, hey, you know what? He's out of bounds when he recovered.
Again, the threshold is clear and obvious. And as you said, call on the field is most important. That this was a fumble recovered by Colorado and Keaton Wade.
And remember, he never steps out of bounds as well. Another thing, to establish himself inbounds. See, watch 27. He's going to come out of nowhere. Remember, never steps out of bounds. Comes in and makes the play.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
Yeah.
First down, Colorado.
Had to be.
That's a nice job. That's good team defense by Colorado. Creating opportunity. Now it's left up to Julian Lewis to try to find something for this offense to punch this in for a touchdown.
Well, it was exactly the recipe for Colorado's defense, as plagued by injuries as they've been. Taufik Byard comes up with a huge play for Rob Livingston's defense. And now, despite an offense that hasn't done anything yet, you've got excellent field position and some momentum.
I think you take a shot right now with Amari Miller on the outside.
Instead, a give to Draylon Miller, who was immediately clamped off the left side. Don.
Yeah, people might recognize that last name Byard, right? He's the brother of All-Pro Bears safety Kevin Byard. Now, they didn't grow up together, big difference in age there, but they do keep in touch. They connect before and after seasons to go over goals, talk ball, and Taufik told me biggest thing he's learned from him, the art of preparation. No one prepares like Kevin Byard, and I think we just saw the effect of that prep right there.
Sure did, Don. Juju Lewis takes his medicine on second out and long to Draylon Miller. Ushered out by Keith Abney, and third down coming up for Colorado. A sudden change. You said maybe a shot on first down. Seemed like they were looking for it on second.
Well, yeah, they had Sincere Brown. He's going to stop right here in the middle. And if you've got time, Julian Lewis has got to find him. See, he just gets lost in coverage. He's just sitting there wide open. He hits Sincere Brown. That's a touchdown. But he gets lost. And this is where Julian Lewis, keeping his eyes downfield, going through the progressions, could have had a big play right there for a touchdown.
Colorado so far 0 for 3 on third downs. Sun Devils back up, bring 4 across the middle on the check down. Draylon Miller churning the legs, very close to the sticks, near the 12.
Yeah,
Keyshawn Elliott wrapped him up, and it's fourth down.
They're holding fourth down, but I don't send the field goal unit out. This is 4 down territory. You got to cash the turnover in. And so where do they find the short yardage here as they line up for what looks to be a tush push?
Lewis gets under center. He gets a shove from Draylon Miller. On the second effort, he reaches out. And did he get there? Very close for Juju Lewis on the fourth down sneak.
My first glance at it, I don't think he got it. I think he's denied the line to gain. That's a turnover on downs.
Still waiting on a signal as the officials congregate.
I mean, they lined up, they hurried up, and a nice job by Arizona State. They plugged all the gaps. There was nowhere for Juju Lewis to go. And it was a second effort that you thought he may come through, but nice job by Keyshawn Elliott, 44, the linebacker. He did an outstanding job of making sure there was no penetration.
And at long last, they make the signal. It is a stop and a turnover on downs.
Yeah, you see 44, he was right over the center, and he got the initial hit on Lewis. And then now the cavalry comes in. Everybody pushed him back. No penetration by that offensive line. No push. They stopped him on fourth down.
That is big time. And Colorado comes up empty after the fumble. Malik Brown goes straight ahead. And Malik Brown takes it to right around the 15-yard line. 3-yard pickup.
But I'm okay with the decision, though, by Coach Sanders. I'm okay with it. You know, you got some momentum. You made the play, got the turnover defensively. I think you kind of rushed that fourth down play. Maybe take a little bit of time, maybe even call timeout, but get your best play called. They kind of rush. Arizona State was all over.
I know you don't love shotgun run plays in short yardage. They went with the sneak there, and yeah, maybe just a little too quick. On second down and 7, pressure picked up. Sees into coverage, incomplete. Preston Hodge, the fifth-year senior nickel, a leader in the secondary, had the sticky coverage on Eusebio.
He's Iron Man. Last week played 83 plays. He's going to be out there. You can't. Number 4 in black is going to be on the field at all times. A terrific job of not only putting the left arm behind, but watch the right arm. See how the right arm gets it, knocks the play. That's called great coverage and great technique by Preston Hodge.
Jordan Thompson is in the slot, bottom of your screen on this third down and 7 for the Sun Devils. And a flag flies in.
False start. Offense number 59. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
It's Makai Stewart, the 360-pound true freshman who's been playing a lot of guard here recently, and that's another false start for Arizona State on a third down offensively. So now they need a dozen backed up to their own 11.
Now they move Tyson all the way to the top now at wide receiver.
Conservative from Marcus Arroyo with Malik Brown, and he gets tripped up, but a flag comes in at the end of the play, right near the line of scrimmage. Keaton Wade and the backup corner Makari Vickers get on the stop.
Yeah, they may get a hold here on Arizona State. They're going to decline that. I think it was between the center and the guard.
Holding. Offense number 58. That penalty is declined. Brings up fourth down.
So, I mean, we talked about all the 3 and outs for Colorado's offense. The defense has forced some of their own here against Arizona State.
Yeah, this has just been outstanding job by this defense. Rob Livingston, he was excited to get this bunch out there on the field. They feel like they had an extra period yesterday at walkthrough because they just felt like so many guys going through practice and who's available, who's not. And you can't start the game any better if you're Colorado defensively.
Kenny Dillingham trying to get his offense in gear. Canyon Floyd on the move, gets away, a deep one to Quinell Farrakhan at the 29. Farrakhan swung down at the 42. Let's check in with Kevin Connors and Trevor Manich in the studio.
All right, Mike, it's time now for the AT&T countdown to the CFP National Championship. Pitt exploded out of the gates behind Mason Heinchel.
And this was really almost shocking. Heinchel, freshman quarterback, out-dueling senior Heisman candidate Haynes King for Georgia Tech.
It was 28-0, but King to Isaiah Canyon, back of the end zone. Suddenly we have a game again, Mike. 28-14 over on ESPN.
Fellas, that was unexpected. You're talking about a Georgia Tech team 6-1 in the ACC, and Pitt, even after the loss handily at the hands of Notre Dame, 5-1 in the ACC.
You smell that? Smell that?
A little upset?
No, a little Heisman moment right here. Haynes King being down 28, bringing his team back from 28 down. The possibilities.
Here's Michael Welch with the biggest game today for Colorado. Takes it to the red zone. Colorado's leading rusher picks up 39.
Man, what a block by the left tackle, Kareem Hart. You always want to know, watch 55 right here. Watch the kick out. You need great blocking up front, but you need access. He gets that kick out block, and boom, that's where you get the big run by Welch. Getting down the field, one of their big explosive running backs. Nice run.
Welch tripped up off the left side. You mentioned Kareem Harden, fifth-year senior. It's his third game in a row playing a ton after he really hadn't played in a month and a half because, again, Jordan Seaton, superstar sophomore left tackle, is out. A guy who'd been in a walking boot. He was out of the boot yesterday at walkthrough but didn't participate. Deion Sanders had thought he'd be back for this game, and Seaton's not.
And look, one guy's misfortune is another guy's opportunity, and right now, Kareem Harden is taking that opportunity. We saw that outstanding block really to get this offense going.
Well, Larry Johnson at right tackle either for the Buffs. So 2 starts for Juju Lewis, down both his bookend tackles. Blitz picked up. Lewis with a sidestep, and he takes off. Juju Lewis smartly slides down like you wanted earlier.
Yeah.
Enough for a first down to set up first and goal.
Man, let's go back to that block by Dallin Hayden, no, number 7. You saw that block. You got to have great blocking up front. Hayden was able to hit the blitzing linebacker, and then Julian Lewis, seeing at the middle of the field was wide open, goes and takes off, and very comfortable slide, learning from his earlier missed opportunity where he dove head first and took the hit.
So another chance into the red zone for Colorado, trying to cash in with the first quarter winding down. Dallin Hayden into the end zone, touchdown Colorado.
I want you to watch the center right here, Zarian McGill. That's what you want to do. You need your center to get out, so you get the snap, and you get out, and you just block. You go right behind. Nice job by Hayden following his center right up the field and right into the end zone for the touchdown.
4 plays, 57 yards. Quinell Farrakhan set it up with a smooth return. And Colorado grabs the lead in the waning seconds of the first. For 20 years, Allstate has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you to Allstate. Look, this is a Colorado team 3-7 overall, 1-6 in the Big 12, tied for the second worst mark in conference, only ahead of 0-7 Oklahoma State. And yet, they've come out, all the injuries that we've documented, and they brought it here in the first quarter.
I mean, you think back to week 1 against Georgia Tech. They took Georgia Tech down to the wire. They were actually up early in that game before Georgia Tech came back to win it. A close game against BYU way back at the end of September. So this football team has had some good football. The upset you were here for against Iowa State. So they played some good football. It's just been inconsistent at times. And that's what Coach Prime, or Coach Sanders, I should say, has told us about what? Preaching consistency week in and week out.
Deion Sanders has said we're underachieving this year, but they've been sharp here in the first. To Kevin in the studio.
Mike, it's time for the Chick-fil-A move on the field. No better way to move than to get it to Drew Mestonmaker, here to Wyatt Young.
Yes, 3,000 yards passing. A lot of those are deep down the field, but in this case, Young beat pretty much the entire Rice defense as he spun around and then accelerated for the score.
84-yard touchdown, 28 unanswered, Mike, from the Mean Green.
Could Mestonmaker and Eric Morris, a coach maybe who's going to be in demand, could they get that group of 5 spot?
Don't sleep on North Texas. We've had a chance to go down there. That's a good-looking football team.
Denton is a whole lot of fun. Sims pulls it out of a 2 running back look, and he gets stacked up for a 2-yard pickup to take us to the end of the first. Deion Sanders and the Buffaloes have the lead as Jordan Tyson has made his return to the lineup and to Boulder. 7-3 Buffs on the Devils after 1.
We start the second quarter here in Boulder with Coach Prime. Coach, defense forced a turnover, offense found the end zone and took the lead. What'd you like the most about that quarter?
Well, the defenses, they come to play. They came to play. They had a great week of practice by both sides of the ball, and they came to play. Special teams, we're going to do what we do. We're normally consistent on that, but we got to start moving the ball offensively. We got the running game start kicking up, so you may see a little bit more of that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. God bless.
Don, thank you. Jeff Sims with a sidestep of trouble from London Merritt and lived to play another down, 3rd down and 8.
Oh, London Merritt thought he had a sack. He thought he had Jeff Sims, and at the last second, Sims, just the pocket presence, gets away from the sack and throws the ball out of bounds.
So on the note, this is the first Colorado lead since 6 weeks ago in that win you mentioned against Iowa State. They put the clamps on Jeff Sims and the Arizona State offense.
Obvious passing situation. Look at the tight end, Mateer, in the backfield for protection.
Been doing this a lot over the last few weeks. Four-man rush, and Sims rips one, and it's complete to McClain. In the plus territory, the fifth-year senior Malik McClain for 25.
That's a nice job by McClain. He got right in front of Yates. 3rd and long. You're playing over the top if you're Yates, but you want to be a little bit closer. Little stickies down here. Watch this whole scenario right here. And once McClain got Yates to turn his hips, he knew he had the inside, the in cut on the route, and a great throw from Sims for the first down.
Kenny Dillingham told us McClain, one of the guys who had stepped up in the 3 games without Jordan Tyson, had 11 of his 17 catches coming in those 3 games. Malik Brown's explosive, trying to get the edge, and he gets swung down by Taufik Bayard. Keaton Wade stretched it out. Bayard cleaned it up, and it's a loss of 3.
Yeah, Bayard's all over the place. You got Yates as well, the corner. He's the one that had the edge, and then you see the cavalry, those linebackers coming through, making a play. But this is a 2nd and long. It's all about stopping the run, and they preached it all week long. You're seeing the benefits of Colorado stopping the run, forcing Jeff Sims now to have to line up and empty, try to create some offense for Arizona State.
Already the 4th tackle for loss for Colorado's defense. Sims with time, a quick hitter, and he's got it to Shimon Mateer. Taufik Bayard right there on the scene after a half dozen.
Would love to think now, is this 4-down territory for Arizona State? They've crossed the 50-yard line, but they're trying to find some momentum. Is this 2-down territory, 4-down territory, I should say, 2 downs to get the first? And so Marcus Arroyo, offensive coordinator, he's going to be able to dial up a couple plays if they come up short here on 3rd. And I think that's what Coach Dillingham is probably telling him in the headset.
3rd down and 7 with Jordan Tyson slot right. Buff show pressure. They bring it. Sims off his back foot, not on the same page with Malik McClain. Rob Livingston heats it up, and it's 4th down indeed.
Yeah, nice job by Tion Parks. He's on top. And he had his eyes on that football the entire time, had his eyes on the quarterback, Sims. And they bring out the punting unit. I think if they got a little bit of yardage on that one, maybe a little check down, they probably would go for it on 4th. But the incompletion, they're going to punt the football.
Our analytics model says if it's 4 yards to go or fewer, then the decision would be go. If you get something there, I think you're right, it probably would have been 4-down territory.
Thought they may have ran the football, but something underneath that probably could have got them an opportunity on 4th.
Here's a fake. Canyon Floyd's done this in his career, and he connects again to move the sticks to the big boy. Blazin Lono Wong, the defensive tackle.
But Mike, I want to look at this play because I want to make sure, is he on the line of scrimmage? Because you got to make sure that everyone reported eligible. So I'm looking at 97, but just look at this. You have him on the line of scrimmage, that makes him ineligible. So are they saying that he was off? Because if he's off, then he's eligible. And I think that's what confused the Colorado defense.
And how about that for Canyon Floyd? Last year he had 2 completions as a freshman punter. He's got one there, and boy, was that needed for Arizona State.
Well, I guess they did go for it on 4th down. We were clamoring for it. But I do want to just take another look. Was he the eligible receiver as the end man on the line of scrimmage? Remember, that's an ineligible number, 97, so having the report so you know that he's the eligible player, I think that threw off guard the Colorado defense. Arizona State got away with it.
And how about the adjustment in the hands from the redshirt junior defensive tackle? He's playing the biggest role of his career defensively. Second run for Malik Brown, who got wrapped up, lost one of his mouth guards in the process. Don't worry, he has a couple. And Quinn Barnes in on the stop, and it's 3rd down.
It's a big 3rd down right here for Colorado. Defensively, they've got to try to stop the bleeding a little bit, but I like this drive so far. For Arizona State, they're running the football. It's not about them throwing in the air. They're trying to establish their run game and get something going.
3rd down and 1. Sims took the handoff and gave it to Kanye Udo, who got stacked up short, and now it's 4th down.
And Quinn Barnes, man, he is having himself a game. Watch 92 in black. He's been getting off the football all game long. He's right in the middle of the screen. Watch him right there. Watch him come through right. Nice job of making the play on Udo. 92's been having himself a game so far.
And then Taufik Bayard, who had been in on the front end of that play, is down for Colorado. And he's been playing dinged up. Guy who had started the year with a back injury as well, coming out of camp, and is the leading tackler for the Buffs. A big 4th down looms on the other side for Arizona State when we welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Geico. Maybe the best player on Colorado's defense, Taufik Bayard, heads to the locker room, and this is 4th down and 2, and Kenny Dillingham will go for it. Jeff Sims on the roll, fires for Tyson, incomplete. Tyson had a step on Isaiah Harge, but it's a turnover on downs for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, they were trying to run a pick play for the tight end, Harpole, so he was the underneath, but that was taken away by Colorado, and then they tried to go deep down the field to Tyson, and he was well covered by 2 defenders. So a nice job defensively by Colorado. I want you to watch both things. So watch Harpole, the tight end. See, there's a pick route, but he's covered well by Yates, and then they just try to throw it to the back of the end zone, and he's double covered Tyson. And so they gambled. They didn't get it.
But you're okay with that choice to go for it?
I think both teams are just trying to find some offense, trying to create anything. They feel like right now a touchdown feels so bigger, much bigger in this game than kicking a field goal.
And what feels like it'll be a low-scoring game. Dallin Hayden on a 1st down run. Justin Watley, who's been great recently, in on the stop. So Colorado up by 4. 5 minutes into the 2nd quarter. Again, 3-7 overall, 1-6 in the Big 12, coming out of their bye week. After before that, they had lost by 7 at West Virginia. 2nd career start for the 5-star freshman Juju Lewis. On the RPO, he's got a connection to Omarion Miller, who's got his first catch, the top skill guy for the Bucks.
You know, we talked about that ball accuracy. You want to see accuracy? That's it right there. Little RPO action, and watch where this ball is delivered at, right where it needs to be. Right into the hands of Omarion Miller, where he's able to catch, secure, and keep running after the catch.
Miller, who has been so good these last couple of weeks, forming that bond with Lewis. Lewis forced to get rid of it. Watching Colorado on film,
yes.
Juju Lewis to Omarion Miller is unquestionably their best offense, right?
Yeah, especially when they get it deep down the field. When it's just one-on-one, I think Julian Lewis gets to the line of scrimmage and say, come on, really? You're going to go one-on-one with Omarion Miller? I love that matchup for my guy. And that's what Omarion Miller has shown so far this season, the ability to make the big play for this offense.
I mean, Julian told us yesterday, his connection with Miller, he said it's unstoppable right now. Trying to get him more involved. Draylon Miller is met with a physical tackle in the hole by Keyshawn Elliott for no gain. The senior linebacker who's been awesome this year.
Man, he's down. He's one of their best players. It's Elliott in the 2 corners. Watch 44 on the right side of the screen. He defeats a block and just comes out of nowhere. See how he flashes? When he flashes, that is a form tackle. That's a wrap. That's the way linebacker coaches want to see it right there. They like the wrap at the end.
Brian Ward told us the coaches do not even beat Keyshawn Elliott into the building. Sets up 3rd down and long for Colorado. Buffs 0 for 4 you see on 3rd downs. Sun Devils back off and bring 4. Lewis on a crosser at the feet of Sincere Brown, and it will force another Buffalo's punt.
And I think Juju Lewis, he's going to understand this. I think he's a little frustrated with himself on that last one. Is that Arizona State showed pressure, but they backed out of it late. They only rushed forward. They got into a zone, and Juju Lewis just rushed that throw. He felt like the pocket's caving in on me. I got to throw it. He had a little bit more time than he may have thought, and probably could have gotten the ball a little bit more down the field.
He told us yesterday the biggest part of his growth getting into college has been reading defenses, as you would expect for a guy who reclassified even, should be a high school senior. Damon Greaves booms one to the 15 for Zacharias Sample. Takes it past the 20 before he got popped by Preston Hodge. Midway through the second, Sun Devils with the ball down by 4.
At least one game. Arizona State is in. Mike and Kirk. So I'm saying there's a chance. My brain is fried. You two will be quizzed on this later. Are you on it?
We call this Detective Don
Yes.
every week. That is Don's finest work of the season.
I want to play Tecmo Bowl now, by the way. Just look at that graphic. Outstanding job by Caitlin Erk as well.
Sims on the run with a connection to Derek Eusebio for a first down. All right, to boil all that down, though,
Yes.
you have the odds you see here. Clearest path is this. You win out, you have to do that. Texas Tech wins next week. They're off this week. They play at West Virginia next weekend. And then tonight, if BYU loses to Cincinnati, a game that is tied right now, but BYU wins next week, and next week, TCU then beats Cincinnati. It's a lot to unpack. That is the best path for Arizona State. Malik Brown goes skipping at Isaiah Harge to the 45 and keeps on pushing the pile. Good enough for a first down, Don.
Yeah, so all these scenarios, none of the players have gone through them. Miles Rouser told me that they don't do the detective work. They don't care what needs to happen because at the end of the day, if they don't win out, guess what the percentage is? It's 0. This is a group that feels they've had their backs against the wall for the last month, and that's where they thrive, guys.
And Don, they got to get in gear. Trailing by 4 against 3-7 Colorado midway through the second. First downs on consecutive plays. Another give to Brown with that sudden burst. John Slaughter wraps up. Malik Brown came in 3rd in the Big 12 in rushing yards behind Texas Tech's Cameron Dickey and BYU's L.J. Martin.
Yeah, watch this run here by Malik Brown. Watch the power, though, and the way he's able to hit the hole and accelerate. That's the last couple of weeks I've seen the most out of Malik Brown because they've had to rely on him in the rushing attack, but also what he's doing receiving the football as well. Last week, he had 3 receptions for 29 yards and a touchdown. That may be the recipe for this offense.
Marcus Arroyo is trying to take some snaps off of Brown, so Kanye Udo, the Army transfer, comes in. He supplies some power, and he's got a first down on 2nd down and 1. And Malik Brown stepping into this big role. Of course, Cam Scadaboo was 5th in the Heisman last year. This year, Kyson Brown, well, he's been out since week 5. So Malik Brown has really stepped up after last year suffered that torn hammy on the 2nd day of fall camp and missed the year.
And so where do you find your offense? And now the offense you've seen running the football has really gotten this offense to me on first down, getting opportunities to at least try to get the ball down the field and get Jordan Tyson back in the game.
4 plays, 3 first downs this drive, and Sims pulls it from Udo and heads toward the edge with a shove of Hodge, who wrangles him down at the 35. And running the football again.
But this is what happens because they've been running the football to the running back, but watch the defensive end on the right side cave down. Number 53, Arden Walker. He caves down. Sims sees that, pulls the football, and got the positive yards on first down. It's run to running back, and Sims takes it off.
Guy you've known a long time, and Marcus Arroyo, the offensive coordinator, who has had to undergo a reinvention with all the injuries, especially at quarterback, with Jeff Sims taking over for the injured Sam Levin. Fake it. Sims under pressure. Gets away from Keaton Wade and throws on the run to the sideline, and that is complete to Jalen Moss.
Yeah, but the thing is, they tried to set up a screen, and the screen didn't happen, so you can get ineligible player downfield, which would be the left tackle, Josh Atkins.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Well, they're going to get 77, but they also could have got 53. It was multiple guys because they were setting up for the screen backside, but a nice job by the Colorado defense. Just watch these guys right here. They're going to get down here trying to set up the screen. And so when you get those guys down the field, they're all trying to block for the screen, but there's no screen call because of a nice job by Colorado's defense. And that's where Jeff Sims just kind of has to throw the ball away or run out of bounds. Can't take that penalty.
Could have got multiple guys, like you said. Of course, the rule is can't be more than 3 yards downfield. Malik Brown found the lane and got dragged down. Reggie Hughes in on the stop. 3rd down coming up.
Watch the defensive end on the left side again. That's the game right now. It's Sims versus Arden Walker, number 53. Will Arden Walker, 53, cave down on the run to the running back, or will he stay home and be patient on Sims if he keeps it? So that's where the game within the game right now.
Third down and 6. Jordan Tyson is not on the field for the Sun Devils. Colorado shows pressure. It's a screen. It's Eusebio who slipped one and then gets wrapped up. And he is 2 yards short. Preston Hodge and Keaton Wade in on the stop. And another decision here for Kenny Dillingham.
I think it's an easy one. We're going to go for it on fourth down. You just feel that's the way that this game is going, Mike. It's a nice job of tackling here. You mentioned Hodge coming out against safety spot. Playing a little safety and nickel there, making the play. But 4-1. I'm going to keep this ball in my quarterback's hands. Little read option. Let Sims go grab 1 yard.
Still no Jordan Tyson here on 4th and 2. Fake it. Sims throws it. Sideline Malik Brown. Touchdown Sun Devils. Yard strike on 4th down.
I want you to watch this here. So here's Malik Brown. He's right here. Sean Myers, a linebacker, he's got him in coverage. But Myers has to get all the way out of the traffic. And here's the route by Malik Brown. Just gets right behind Myers. See that traffic? Myers has to go over the traffic, and he's late in the down to go get Brown. A perfectly thrown football from Sims. And then a little bit of a high stepping Dion primetime style by Brown in the end zone.
Best drive of the day for Arizona State spans 77 yards. And on this 4th down, Jeff Sims again goes to the air and converts.
And he converts to Brown, gets to the end zone, and it's Malik Brown, prime time stepping Arizona State with the lead here in Boulder. Absolutely. Wish I could be there a little later.
Jesus Gomez ready to get it away to Quentin Gibson. Top 200 recruit and true freshman. This one curls for a touchback. Time now for our drive recap, brought to you by AutoZone.
And it was really all about Malik Brown and Jeff Sims. Sims able to convert early on. He gets Eusebio with a nice throw on the outside, but it was really all about Malik Brown and the runs. A couple of explosive runs that kind of really thought the offense got going, but on this 4th down, finding Malik Brown along that sideline with Myers on the coverage, they finally broke one into the end zone.
Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State 2 for 3 on 4th downs. See, 7th time this season with multiple 4th down conversions. That's second most among power conference teams. We've got a flag that drops in pre-snap on the Buffs.
Illegal snap. Offense number 58. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Zarian McGill is the center, 6th-year senior from Mississippi. It's a big spot for Colorado. You still have 3+ minutes until halftime. Full complement of timeouts on both sides. Remember, to begin the second half, Colorado will get the football. Juju Lewis on the slant connects with Joseph Williams. The Tulsa transfer gets a lot of it back. It sets up 2nd down and short.
I just love how everything that Julian Lewis throws, it's a yards after catch. Right, the receivers catch the ball in stride, and they keep running. That's a lost art, I think, in football. Some quarterbacks just throw to the guy, but he throws to an area that allows him for the run after catch.
They roll. Lewis trying to get rid of it. It's incomplete toward his tight end, Zach Atkins. Juju Lewis has matured a ton since he showed up on campus. Deion Sanders said to us yesterday, Juju is a whole different kid. Said he's not trying to mimic anyone. He's not necessarily following anyone. He's come into his own. He's grown tremendously.
I mean, he's highly touted. So I think a lot of people came in with the expectation that he will probably win the starting job, but he wasn't ready yet. And so now you get to November in college football. I think he's seen enough, he's practiced enough, and we're seeing it here now.
He pulls it on 3rd down and will take off with a fake. And he takes the contact from Boogie Wilson and picks up a 1st down. Got a player down for the Buffs. That is the wide receiver, Joseph Williams, their 2nd leading wideout. serving as the trainer for Joseph Williams.
Yeah, Boogie Wilson, number 6. He's the one that knocked Williams down because he thought he was the primary target on that play. Instead, Julian Lewis kept the football and powered his way for the first down. Watch on the right side of the screen. That's Boogie Wilson. I'm sorry, no, that was Bree Love. Thought it was 6. The 6 was on the tackle of Lewis, but 5. Bree Love was the one that hit Williams, and then he didn't have the football.
So fresh set of downs for Colorado. Fake it, throw it. Marion Miller can't haul it in with Keith Abney in coverage. He's had an excellent year at corner, matched up with Miller.
Yeah, he's the one that had the interception last week versus West Virginia to seal the game for Arizona State. He's been playing outstanding, Mike. Number 1, very confident in his coverage. And right there, he's right there on Miller.
A low delivery from Julian Lewis. Lewis steps up, slings sideline. Sincere Brown was wrapped up immediately, but there's a flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 95. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Justin Watley, who just thought he was finishing ahead, but they flag him here.
Yeah, that's just a little too close. I think Watley could have stayed off of the quarterback. Watch, just late in the down, you get 1 step. So 1, 2. Yeah, that ball's already gone. That's a good call by the officials. Especially hitting him up there by the head and neck area. That little push, that shove, it's right in front of the official. Watley could have held off. Yeah, I think it's a correct call.
So that really hurts Arizona State. Ball's at the 42 for the Buffs, and this is Dallin Hayden with a good gain wrapped up by Clayton Smith after 5 as we tick toward the 2-minute timeout. Slugfest in Boulder for much of this first half, but the offense is waking up at Folsom Field. Kev, little spin cycle there.
I like that. Technical difficulty. I like that.
Cyrus Allen for Brendan Sorsby. Here in the Big 12, Colorado with the football. Juju Lewis taking a shot. Wants Marion Miller, and it's out of bounds, and it brings up 3rd down with Keith Abney draped all over Miller.
I told you Abney's playing some good football. He is playing some outstanding football. That time he was patient, and he just watched Miller the entire time. Just watched his posture and never saw that the ball was anywhere near. A lot of cornerbacks panic in that moment. Nice job of patience by Abney.
Now this gets interesting in terms of clock management. You got 3rd down and 6. Both teams still with 3 timeouts, and you're probably outside of field goal range. Lewis seals it for Miller. Now you got 4th down coming up, and only 6 seconds came off the clock.
Yeah, and I think this is a situation, mate. I'm looking over at that sideline for Colorado. This is a big decision here because do you want to punt it? But you feel like you're so close. You don't want to kick the field goal here because it's long distance. Just out of the arms of Miller was that throw. Again, Abney on coverage.
There's Brett Bartolone, again, who has taken over in his 3rd game calling the plays. He's the tight ends coach. They stripped Pat Shurmur of his play calling duties as offensive coordinator. You're beyond the range of the sturdy, but usually around 40 yards, Alejandro Mata. Now you got the play clock winding down as well.
Take time out. I think it's the right timeout, too.
First charge timeout.
So Deion Sanders
Colorado.
will think things over
30 seconds.
with 1:50 to go until halftime. Year 3 for Colorado under Deion Sanders. He took over a program that bottomed out in 2022 under Carl Durrell. In year 1 for Deion, they burst onto the scene with wins over TCU, Nebraska, and Colorado State. Finished that year 4-8. Then last year, of course, 9-4, 7-2 in the Big 12. The Heisman for Travis Hunter. This year, 3-7, but Shadur's gone and Travis Hunter's gone.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize the offensive output that those 2 guys have. It's one thing to have a Heisman Trophy winning player go on to the next level. And you say, well, what happens the following year? Well, we've only seen it. It's only happened one time that the record got better after the Heisman Trophy winner left or won the Heisman Trophy. Travis Hunter did. 2002 with Carson Palmer. He won the Heisman at USC. Remember, USC actually the following year got better. They had a quarterback by the name of Matt Leinart too. So, but anyway, but you don't realize how much that Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders meant to this offense. And I think that's the reason why they didn't get that same type of production from Caden Salter.
They go for it on 4th and 6. Lewis under pressure from Watley. Cannot escape. A one-arm takedown from Justin Watley on 4th down.
That ball's got to be out of his hands. It should be right now. And a terrific job just by this Arizona State defense. Look, everybody's just playing zone. Everybody's just dropping back in their zone and keeping their eyes on the quarterback. But Watley just holding on to cloth. That's what you're taught as a defensive player. Get back to the quarterback. Running back doesn't matter. Grab cloth and hold on. And Watley, yeah, put some extra sauce and powder on that one.
Boy, the situational football really tilts the way of Arizona State right there. They get the sack. They get the ball right around midfield as well. And Kenny Dillingham has all kinds of time at all 3 of his timeouts. So now 2-minute offense for Jeff Sims and Arizona State. Sims on the wheel route is intercepted by John Slaughter. Sims sailed it and a giveaway right away.
It's just a nice job by Slaughter. It's almost as if they ran the same play earlier to Brown on the opposite side. Remember, they had the linebacker in coverage. This time, Slaughter's in coverage. He gets over the top, and he's on top of Brown, able to have eyes back on the quarterback, and then makes the interception. A little bit of a difference between having the linebacker in coverage on Brown. They switched it up, put Slaughter on, and Slaughter comes away with the interception.
And for as great of a story Jeff Sims has been, he has done so much good the last few weeks for Arizona State. But turnovers throughout his career have been the problem for him. Coming into today, 44 turnovers. Guys made 29 career starts, and that is really costly before halftime.
And that's a poorly thrown football. You would love to see that ball thrown to the backside or even thrown away. But another turnover for Sims.
So another chance for Juju Lewis, who can't connect with Joseph Williams.
A little surprised at that drive starter. You know, the running game has been working for Colorado, especially the second part of this first half. Why not start with a little easy run play or a screen play to get the drive going?
4-man rush, and Lewis on a check down. Draylon Miller stayed in bounds. So it's a 4-yard pickup. The clock rolls ahead of 3rd down.
Kenny Dillingham calls timeout. So you get a 1st down and a 2nd down. And now Dillingham is trying to put himself in an opportunity to maybe get a field goal or something of that nature.
So Draylon Miller does not get out of bounds. We've got a 3-point game, 1:17 to go until halftime. We welcome you upstairs here in lovely Boulder. Kirk Morrison, Mike Monaco with you. Juju Lewis, it's a new era for Colorado here these last few games of the season. They look like a different team with him going against an Arizona State team that still has a ton to play for.
Well, I feel like they're building a lot of momentum. Julian Lewis is the future of Colorado football. They had Shedeur Sanders a couple years prior. They thought Caden Salter would have that type of production this year. It just wasn't the case. So they turned the reins of this team, this school, over to Julian Lewis. And so far, he's shown the ability to make some outstanding throws deep down the field. But I think just the experience, especially in these moments, these are great reps. He only had 128 snaps coming into today. So with each snap, with each rep, each moment, 2-minute drill, these are valuable for Julian Lewis.
See the numbers, not impressive. 8 of 19 for 44 yards, but he's managed the game. Had some really good moments in that first start 2 weeks ago against West Virginia. But now 3rd down and 6. Buffs 1 of 7 on 3rd downs. Lewis under pressure again. Got away. Lewis on the move, looking downfield, and along the sideline, that is dropped by Joseph Williams. Williams in the scramble drill appeared for Juju Lewis but couldn't hang on.
Yeah, but it's just a nice job by Lewis with the pocket presence. Watch him evade this move by Clayton Smith. Just a little bit of pocket presence. He steps up, awareness. That should have been caught by Williams. Watch this fastball. Williams should have came up with it. That should have been a catch. Right on his hands.
So who would have thought we would have 4 total possessions of 2-minute offense? Each team gets a couple cracks at it, at least. 1:15 to go. Damon Reeves Sends one away to Zachariah Sample, who lets him bounce. Fields it at the 15. And dropped right at the 15. Preston Hodge with the takedown. And poor starting field position for the Sun Devils. Tuesday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN, and the app will have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the guys break them down top to bottom, coach reaction, and a live interview with the new committee chairman, Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas AD.
I love the reactions now, right? Remember the first couple weeks of the reveal, everybody's like, oh, okay. But now, as we get closer and closer to those moments, conference championship games coming around, I love the arguments. I love everybody now. We're all involved. We're all invested now on Tuesday nights.
Our game summary, Jeff Sims with that interception. Colorado could not capitalize. Rob Livingston's Buffalo's defense has been excellent. Sun Devils' last 3 drives have gone interception, touchdown, and then the turnover on downs. So run to start with Raleek Brown.
You see what the drive starter does? Just a little run, get everybody going. Okay, that's a drive starter. You usually get screen, draw, but you want to see the ball moving. And now you get lined up. You hope the communication on the defense isn't there because the offense already has a couple calls already called in the huddle.
Another run. Brown springs through. He's got the home run hitting ability. Raleek Brown ushered out at the 21. A 60-yard sprint.
I want you to watch the right tackle, 58, Ahanakor. Sure, 58, he's just keeping his edge. He's pushing everything out. And Raleek Brown, the ability to see it and set it up and cut right underneath. That's a nice job there on that run. Remember, just getting the running game going. They start the drive with a run, and you think, oh, they're not going to run it again. They're going to go into 2-minute mode. They go right back to the run game.
Gas pedal for Raleek Brown. But we get a stoppage here with 25 seconds to go until halftime. I think they're working on spotting the football. Gives us a chance to look at this week's college football playoff rankings. Brought to you by Verbo. This is the field right now based on the current rankings.
Let's see Miami right there creeping up, and then everybody's keeping their eye on what's going on with Georgia Tech as well. BYU and Utah, right? They're just hanging around.
Right now, BYU up 10-7 at halftime at Cincinnati. Ball properly spotted as it should have been at the 21. Jeff Sims looking one-on-one for McLean. Back shoulder incomplete. McLean was out of bounds, matched up with Ivan Yates.
Let's see that end of that play. McLean catches the football, but where's that foot's out of bounds? Right over the pylon. Good effort, but needs to put that one a little more in front of the pylon. What a great effort by McLean.
And a pretty good ball from Jeff Sims. 20 seconds to work with, still the 2 timeouts.
And there's Jordan Tyson up top. Red zone.
Sims goes opposite. McLean again. McLean cannot hang on. Yates in coverage. 3rd down.
That's a nice job by Yates. They try to go at him again, and that time Yates is right there, a patient at the top of the route. Coach Dillingham, he wants pass interference. But look, both guys are fighting. I don't see restriction by Yates.
No.
Some may say, oh, he doesn't have his head turned around. I think he's playing the football, but because the ball's underthrown by Jeff Sims, goes right off the helmet of Yates.
So 3rd down. Jordan Tyson is slot left.
Colorado calls timeout.
They do.
Coach Prime had to run out.
Timeout, Colorado. 30 seconds.
Had a nice little trot out there.
Still got that 0 to 60.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what do you call here? 3rd down and 10. You had mentioned Jordan Tyson came onto the field there a couple snaps prior. You still have him, and if you're just joining us, Jordan Tyson returning today after missing the last 3 games with a hamstring injury. He's got 3 targets and just the 1 big catch for 42 yards back in the 1st quarter.
Well, if I'm Marcus Arroyo, the first thing I'm telling Jeff Sims, protect the football, because we still have a field goal opportunity. So let's not throw that away. At least give us an opportunity to kick if we don't get it on 3rd down. You've got a couple of opportunities and shots at the end zone, but the first thing I'm telling my quarterback, is protect the football and where you're throwing it.
Jeff Sims leads him out. His fourth start of the season, 3 in a row. Sam Levitt's out for the year with his foot injury.
You already see the route combination. 12 McLean inside the numbers. He's going to go underneath, and maybe Eusebio inside coming across.
For a screen, Tyson double pass. He wants Mateer just out of his reach. Jordan Tyson had Shimon Mateer.
He had him. He just had too much sauce on it. Here's the tight end right here. He's going to creep out late. The ball's going to be thrown here. Everything was how they wanted. They got the look that they wanted. The hesitation by Mateer and just too much air on that football by Tyson. He had Mateer for the touchdown. Nice call coming out of the break. Little timeout. They had time to bring it up, but just a misfire.
So Jesus Gomez comes out from 39, and he splits the uprights. 13-7 is the Sun Devils lead. Boy, they've had some opportunities when they've been in the red zone or just outside the red zone. They had a couple plays involving Jordan Tyson that could have gone differently. Colorado holds to 3, and remember, the Buffs get the football, as you see, to begin the second half.
You talk about the perfect moment to call that. I don't think anybody thought, hey, right there in that moment.
Arizona State, number 15, is now wearing number 41.
I'm thinking, okay, look, they're going to probably have some inside routes, try to get a couple of pick routes in there and let Sims find it or throw it away. But to have the guts to call that play right there, man, it almost went for a touchdown.
It's Arizona State team that is still in the hunt. Marcus Arroyo has reinvented things offensively after the Levitt injury. And Arizona State keeps on grinding. Popped into the polls this week, grabbing that 25th spot in the CFP rankings. Preseason number 11 in the country. Kenny Dillingham has been searching for that complete game start to finish. Gomez for Gibson, who will take this one out of his own end zone. Why not in the waning seconds? And Gibson swung down just past the 20 as we hit halftime here in Boulder. Kenny Dillingham for Colorado's offense, led by Juju Lewis. Buffs get the football as Jesus Gomez sends one to Quentin Gibson. Takes it from 6 yards deep in the end zone. Gibson nearly slipped the tackle at the 20. Could be more than a 6-point lead for Arizona State, if not for these moments.
Yeah, it's been the miscues in the first half. The fumble that was created by Byard, he knocks one out, recovered by Colorado. Not able to get any points as Sims overthrew Tyson in the back of the end zone. And just a bad throw by Jeff Sims, intercepted by Slaughter. And then right before the half, opportunity here, double pass, and just Tyson overshot Mateer on a 3rd down, and they had to settle for the field goal.
Big drive to begin the second half now for Colorado. Out of a 2 running back look, it is a loss for Dallin Hayden off the right side. Elijah O'Neal on the stop. Don.
Mike, Coach Prime told me that his message to his team at halftime was everything that they've gotten, they have given to Arizona State. Not happy with the consistency. He talked to his quarterback, Juju Lewis, about that consistency. Felt it was missing offensively in the first half. And despite the lead for Arizona State, that was a frustrated Coach Kenny Dillingham, guys, after he walked the officials to the locker room. He said, we got to play better football.
Don, it's Sincere Brown across the middle from Juju Lewis. 3rd down and short coming up. And yes, Kenny Dillingham spent a couple minutes before he went into the locker room barking at the officials.
Yeah, it seemed like his entire team was already in the locker room. He was still out on the field talking to the officials. Didn't like something at the end of that half. I think it maybe had something to do with a non-pass interference call late in that half. A couple of throws to the back end zone.
Exactly what it was.
Yeah, I thought it was great defense by Colorado. He thought, you know, his guys got interfered with on the play.
Deion Sanders, meantime, looking for consistency. 3rd down and 1. Dallin Hayden found the seam. Dallin Hayden springs into Arizona State territory and carries Boogie Wilson inside the 30. It's
Nice job by 71 Xavier Hill. He's a right tackle. Watch him just stay with his block. Sometimes you don't get him initially, but watch how he stays with it. See? Stays with 44. Blocks Elliott, and that's where the run was created.
Hayden again off that right side behind Xavier Hill. You mentioned this, Xavier Hill. I mean, this guy had been their left guard. Last game, 2 weeks ago, he bumped out to right tackle. Pat Shermer said to us, he thinks Xavier Hill made himself some money showing what he can do at tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. Just showing his versatility. Guys played all over the offensive line. I've seen those players a lot in the National Football League.
Got an Arizona State defensive lineman who is still down after the play. That's Justin Watley, sixth-year senior, who has really come on in the previous 3 games and has grabbed the starting job because of it.
Yeah, he's made some outstanding plays so far in this game. Remember, he had the big tackle on Julian Lewis. We'll see if he's going to be okay when we come back from break.
Action in a crazy Big 12 where 5 teams still have a chance to get to Arlington in the conference championship game, including the odds right around 10% for Kenny Dillingham. They need some help. They got to keep winning. This is on the ground with Dallin Hayden. A second down run for very little. Third down and medium coming up with Jacob Kangaika in on the stop.
Well, one thing you're kind of noticing is that this has been all the ground game so far for Colorado to start the second half. You did get that earlier throw that opened up some things, but right now the focus has been the run game. I think that's what they need to lean on, because that's what created a lot of the opportunities in that first half. But now you're asking your young, true freshman quarterback, these are the downs that he has to make the plays. 3rd and 4, the weight down.
Marion Miller slot left. Juju Lewis looking for him. End zone touchdown!
Well, Brett Martinelli, he changed things up. He put Omarion Miller on the inside. He's not what we call the number 3 wide receiver. That time he shows in and then breaks to the outside on Boogie Wilson. It's just an outstanding throw, but they created the space and a perfect throw from Julian Lewis.
Only the second catch of the game for Omarion Miller, and it puts the Buffs in front. We said it one-on-one. Julian Lewis told us it's unstoppable to Miller.
Yeah, but they created that opportunity, Mike, by putting 3 receivers on that side. The first 2 receivers on the outside, they ran stop routes. They held the corners up, which allowed Miller to run that corner route. They gave the space, but a perfectly thrown ball by Julian Lewis.
8 receiving touchdowns for Omarion Miller. Back this year after he missed the second half of last season with a broken ankle. They had such high hopes for him last year. A guy who came here to Boulder as a huge recruit. And now, finally this year, it's come together since the quarterback change.
Yeah, I think we've seen the quarterback, Julian Lewis, find his best target. I mean, Omari Miller is a guy who has a big catch radius, 6'2", 210, has the speed, he has the ability, catches the football well, but man, this is what he does after the catch. We saw it in that last touchdown.
Buck Buchanan has been a touchback machine. Soars one past Jaron Hamilton. All right, so let's look around the Big 12. Everyone's eyes go to the bottom right. If you're an Arizona State fan, you would love some help from Cincinnati. But BYU, without Chase Roberts, who's not returning in the second half, they're up by 10 on the Bearcats.
Yeah, and if they play well with the lead, BYU, Bear Bachmeier, LJ Martin at running back. I mean, these guys, they know how to play with a lead because they run the football between their quarterback and their running back.
Best of the Big 12. The playoff predictor brought to you by Allstate says that, as far as the odds go, the 5 teams trying to get to the league title game. So Jeff Sims and the Sun Devils trail by 1. Get 5 on the ground with Raleek Brown. What'd you think of Jeff Sims in the Arizona State offense in the first half?
Well, we just saw there's too many miscues, right? Opportunity to score points, right? They had touchdowns that were really out there for them that the miscues took them away from it. So now you throw in one of those situations where the running game, I thought Raleek Brown did an outstanding job of making plays. had over 100 yards in that first half. Do they lean on Malik Brown, number 3, in this second half?
Sure do. Another give, and Brown straight ahead for 3. Of note on the Colorado defense, Tawfiq Byard will not return to this game. Again, leading tackler for Deion Sanders is out for the game with a wrist injury.
That's a big player right there. He's one of my impact players on the game. So he already created the fumble earlier, created that turnover for the defense. Now one of their best tacklers out for this game.
Third down for Arizona State. Jordan Tyson is top left of your screen. Reggie Hughes trying to get Colorado all coordinated here. Sims across the middle. Eusebio has green grass in front of him. Eusebio, touchdown Arizona State. 68 yards.
I want you to watch right before the play. That's Reggie Hughes. He's trying to get everybody lined up. But watch, he vacates the area in which Eusebio gets in. So watch this linebacker. He goes here, but watch the route here. If he's staying there, if Reggie Hughes stays there, he's right there to make that tackle on Eusebio. But because he had coverage on the running back Brown, he's jumping around. No miscommunication. And just remember, Jeremiah Brown, number 42, is not in the game. It's only going to play in emergency situations. So one of their best linebackers out. The backup Reggie Hughes, a little confused, and a big play for the touchdown for Arizona State.
And now up 5, classic Kenny Dillingham. He will go for 2 to try to make the lead 7. Sims wide open, and it's Kamari Anderson, the backup tight end. The lead is indeed 7. Looked like a flag came in the end zone after the 2-point.
The result of the play was the field goal was good. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 40. That's his first unsportsmanlike foul of the game. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Big strike to the former walk-on Derek Eusebio, and then 2 more. Sims to Anderson, and the Sun Devils up by 7 on the road. Point conversion.
Look, Jordan Tyson's only going to play in a limited amount of plays, okay? But watch the attention that Jordan Tyson gets when he goes in motion. They're always trying to double team him. Where he goes in motion, it seemed like the whole Colorado defense went with Tyson. Nobody went with the tight end, Kamari Anderson.
Now, after the 15-yard penalty, ball's at midfield for Karsten Kiefer, lining up for at least what he is showing to be an onside kick. If he comes out for a kickoff, it usually means onside, and he does roll it up the middle, and that is handled by John Slaughter just inside the 25. So 2-point pays off. Tyson serving as the decoy. Arizona State with the immediate answer after the Omarion Miller touchdown.
Yeah, just a lot of miscommunication by that Colorado defense. They communicated well in that first half, Mike. Second half, not so much. Trying to have some guys in some new spots. When you have bad communication, big plays happen. And that's where we fall right now in this ball game.
For Deion Sanders, a team at 3-7, looking for what would be a second top 25 win at home this year in this new era with Julian Lewis at quarterback. They ran it on that first drive of this half. Run it here as well with Micah Welch, who bounced it and finishes a run on Keith Abney. It's a running game they need to get in gear. It has really dried up after a good start to the season. And of course, at running back, they've been without DeKalen Taylor and Simeon Price, their 2 best running backs for the last 2 months since they both got hurt in week 4.
Yeah, running backs coach Marshall Falks has just got multiple guys trying to play one spot.
Lewis held it and then got popped by Clayton Smith. Third down.
I want you to watch Clayton Smith. If anybody wants to watch textbook play on an RPO, watch number 10, but watch how he stays square and shuffles. He stays square, shuffle, shuffle, quarterback right there, make the play. That's technique, that's technique. Oh, man, it's great.
Footwork fundamentals, it fires you up.
Oh, man, it's great.
Third down and 5, Lewis popped in, now he's spins, he's searching, he floats one, he's got Williams. First down past the 40 to Joseph Williams, working on Kendrick Breedlove for 15.
Nice job by Lewis. He actually, watch the full pump fake. Watch, he was trying to throw his ball. See that? And realized, oh, no, he's not there. And then just the touch, late in the down to Williams. Remember, with each play, you can just see the maturity of Julian Lewis. Gets better and better each play, and that's what Coach Sanders talked about with Julian Lewis. He just needs reps.
Welch, right side, nothing doing. You're talking with Arizona State's defensive coordinator, Brian Ward. He said about Juju Lewis, Julian Lewis senses and escapes danger. And we've seen that. I mean, the stats haven't been gaudy. Brian Ward there right in the middle. Thank you for the circle.
I got you. He's trying to hide back there, but he's doing a good job with his defense.
But he knew what he was getting into with Lewis. Even though the stats haven't been spectacular, there's just a different feel with him.
Yeah, it's just a different feel. And the one thing is that you know is that with reps come opportunities and to see football. The only way you get better at football is playing football.
Lewis stepped up, checks down. Joseph Williams past the 40, gets pile driven backwards by Breedlove and Javen Robinson. No gain on the play.
This is one of their favorite concepts, a little spacing. And for young quarterbacks, it's just getting guys in the right spot. He knows where his check down is. So you get to the check down, but a nice job and good finish. Especially by Robinson, one of those corners we talked about earlier. He and Abney, they know how to, not only can they cover, but they can tackle.
See the breakdown in third downs for Julian Lewis in Colorado by half. They need 11 here. Four-man rush. Lewis searching and directing. Lewis fires downfield, incomplete. Wanted Sincere Brown. Very good coverage from Boogie Wilson, and it's fourth down.
Nice job, Boogie Wilson, late in the down. You got to plaster. And when I say plaster, is you find the nearest guy in your area and watch the closing speed by 6, just coming down and just trying to get in any way, knock that ball away from Brown.
Really nice from Boogie Wilson, who has assumed a starting role since really the first 2 games when the all Big 12 safety Alford went down. Part of all these injuries, the key contributors for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, he had a bad play last week, West Virginia. 3rd and 27. He missed the tackle when it went 87 yards. This week, definitely, he's been on top of his game.
Their defense has been pretty good this year for Brian Ward. Sample gets some positive yardage, bumped out of bounds at the 25. Arizona State with the football up by 7 midway through the third after this. Sam Levitt's out for the season after he had foot surgery, but this week multiple reports came out that Levitt is unlikely to return to Arizona State next year. The report said as he pursues offers from other programs to potentially enter the portal. Levitt's father told The Athletic that Sam has not decided to transfer. We asked Kenny Dillingham what his conversations were like this week with Sam Levitt. He said to us, nothing about it. He said it's not like we weren't talking. It's been the status quo, and we continue to have conversations. Jeff Sims throws it away to Sean Myers. It's another Arizona State turnover. Wow.
Like, I don't know what he was trying to do. He's running with the football, but late in it down, watch, he tries to throw the ball. Right now, he's running the football, then he stops and tries to do a little push pass to the tight end, Harbaugh. And the ball slips out of his hands, and it's a turnover going the other way for Colorado. Just inexcusable. Those are the types of plays that you don't expect from a 6th-year senior. Guy's been in college football for 6 years. You just can't have those types of plays.
Again, hate to say it, but that has been the knock on Jeff Sims throughout his career. Remember, he was here playing for Nebraska 2 years ago in Boulder. That was year 1 for Deion Sanders. Jeff Sims was the starter for the Huskers in 3 turnovers. That was the 2nd straight game with 3 turnovers to begin the season. He makes his return here to Boulder. Sun Devils do have the lead, but another giveaway. Draylen Miller off the right side. Gets tripped up near the 5 by Javen Robinson.
And I think the bigger situation is just not needed. Meaning that he's trying to make the big play and just make a play, right? Just run the football, hit down. If they defense it, they defense it. You go to the next down. But trying to make something that was just not there, now you put your team or you put your defense back out there in sudden change.
Second down and goal. Another give. Miller wiggles inside the 5 to about the 2.5. Third down coming up. Well, it feels like you got to get 6 here if you're the Bucs.
Yeah, you got to get 6, but more importantly, this is 4-down territory. So to me, you got 2 plays. If you're Coach Bartolone, the offensive play caller for these Colorado Buffs. And right now, what I'm seeing so far is number 4, Omari Miller. He's lined up at the bottom of the screen all by himself. That may be a matchup that Julian Lewis likes.
Against Keith Abney. Lewis stumbles and ball was nearly out as well. Did it pop out at the 5?
Arizona State saying it did.
Umpire comes in and says that it's 4th down, and it looks like Colorado maintained possession, although Boogie Wilson has the football as he emerges from the pile. Keyshawn Elliott was there on the scene for Arizona State. It is indeed 4th down. They're going to say possession was retained by Colorado. Well, you saw it being fumbled around, almost behind the back by Lewis.
Yeah, here's the replay. Was he down with possession? That's going to be close.
Yeah, 2 aspects of it.
Yeah.
Does he have possession when he touches down, or was the ball already coming out? And then who you got on a recovery?
He already lined up for the field goal, so now you can take a look at it.
Alejandro Mata on senior day as a flag fly before his try. Looked like a delayed game.
Delay of game, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Remember, it's been 3 giveaways for Arizona State. They are among the best in the country in fewest points from the opponent when they give the football away. And again, Kenny Dillingham's team playing with fire. Colorado, unless they make this field goal, they don't have any points off those 3 turnovers.
And that's kind of been the story of the game. It's the gifts that Arizona State have really, they've given them. And they haven't been able to capitalize on those gifts.
So Mata backs up. You see how steady he's been. It's his 4th year kicking for Deion Sanders, going back to his freshman season at Jackson State. Deion Sanders told us yesterday that Mata has meant everything to him. Said he's like another son. Off the right hash from 28, Alejandro Mata is pure. Couldn't turn it into 6. They do get 3. They make it a 4-point game with 5.5 to go in the 3rd.
Just going back to that turnover by Jeff Sims. Look, they only give up 3, but it should have been 0. I mean, Jeff Sims just trying to do a little bit too much. I mean, look, they had a great job. Myers is there for the tackle, and you immediately just see the reaction by Sims. Oh, he made a mistake on something that just was not needed.
Again, he has been such a great redemption story so far this year. Had a start earlier this year when Sam Levitt was trying to fight through things, and now 3 in a row for Sims. And he has authored some wins for this Arizona State team. Doesn't come back to bite him too much, just the field goal, and you're still up by 4.
Yeah, and I think the defense needs a lot of credit for Arizona State. They've been able to kind of been in some bad situations and been able to hold their own for some field goals.
Buck Buchanan at 5,000 plus feet of altitude for another touchback. We check in with Kevin in the studio.
All right, Mike, the Capital One rewarding performance turned in by Jakirian Turner. 199 yards on the ground, Trevor, for Pitt.
Yep, late 4th quarter, Georgia Tech scored a touchdown to go up, or to trail 35-28, and then this happened to put it on ice for Pitt.
If the result holds, Mike, there are still 6 ACC teams still alive.
It is unreal, the drama that the ACC and the Big 12 have supplied with all their chaos this year.
Remember people were against conference realignment? Remember that noise a couple years ago? No conference realignment. Man, it's been great football.
Malik Brown on the ground off the left side. And he's getting dragged by one of his offensive linemen for some more yardage. Max Ihanachor, but we do have a flag down. Brown little bit of a limp as he jogs off the field. And they cannot afford to lose him.
100%. Interesting to see what this call is. That the flag came in while the play was still going. Well, interesting to see what it is.
Taking the runner, offense number 58. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
You don't see that often called a lot, but you can't assist the runner, right? Pull the runner, basically. You can push the runner, right? But you can't pull. I mean,
how are we living in a world where the tush push is allowed, but this is?
You can pull it. See?
Explain that to me.
That's what it is. You can push, but you can't pull. So they got called. I've hardly seen that called before, but yeah, you can't pull the runner. You can push him, but you can't pull.
So again, Brown hobbled off. Kanye Udo checks in. Design quarterback run, Sims. And a nice tackle made by Isaiah Harge. Sophomore is the backup nickel. These are his first defensive snaps of the season. 2 weeks ago, he's playing wide receiver.
And now he comes over to the defensive side and makes an outstanding tackle. See, that's an old school wide receiver rap right there. See that how you hold on for dear life? That's a nice job. So look, I can play offense now. His defense needs him to play safety. Remember, the injury to Tawfiq Byard out in this game. So now you're seeing Harge get an opportunity.
Okay, got 16 defensive snaps last year as a two-way freshman. Second down and long. Sims downfield, fits it in nicely. Jordan Tyson, his second grab. The superstar making his return out to midfield with 20.
Yeah, welcome to the second half, Jordan Tyson. An outstanding throw from Jeff Sims. Watch the protection. He's got protection, steps up, and delivers a nice football to one of the best players on the field, Jordan Tyson.
Who, if you're just joining us, they were targeting 30 snaps for Jordan Tyson coming back from the hamstring injury. There was some thought. Kenny Dillingham had told us that maybe they would only use him in the red zone, stuff where he really didn't have to open it up with a hammy. But he's been able to give more than that. Udo is wrapped up from behind by Alex McPherson. True freshman defensive end who they love. He plays with his hair on fire.
And get more and more reps along that defensive front. They've been rotating guys all the way through. Just watch this left side of the screen. Just fights through a block. Able to take down Udo in the backfield.
All kinds of injuries that we talked about on the Colorado defense, especially on the defensive line.
Good to see Malik Brown back, motioning out there wide receiver.
Top of your screen right at the 40. Four-man rush. Sims quick out, and Eusebio trying to make the bobbling catch, but it's incomplete as Harge jumped the route.
Well, the former receiver almost ran that route like a receiver. Think about it. He's now a defensive back, which he almost turned into wide receiver as he just missed a possible interception right there on the throw to Eusebio.
Third down for Arizona State. Where are you going with the football?
You always find Tyson. Jordan Tyson, where is he at? He's lined up in the slot. So that's number one. That's who all the attention. And you see those Colorado defenders pointing at number 0.
Mateo, the tight end, in there for protection. Comes out of the backfield. Sims flushed around the corner. He needs 10. Tiptoes out of bounds past the 45. He is well short. And fourth down coming up as the corner Makari Vickers strung it out on Sims.
Yeah, nice job by Vickers laying it down. Was not fooled. Went straight for the quarterback. Wasn't going to buy a pump fake or anything. That's a good stop defensively for Colorado. So outstanding plays on the outside, on the edge.
Arizona State 15 is now wearing number 41.
Stopping the run first. Remember, no Malik Brown early. Udo was stopped in the backfield and forced Sims to have to be a thrower. Only the one completion to Tyson.
Canyon Floyd comes back out. It's Arizona State's first punt since the first quarter. Floyd will fake earlier. Sails this one for a touchback. Next week on ABC, it is rivalry week. We start the day with the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss and Mississippi State at noon. 3:30 Eastern, we go to Atlanta. Georgia and Georgia Tech, they played an epic, a mere 8 overtimes last year.
Oh, yeah.
And then we wrap up with Texas A&M at Texas at 7:30.
Oh, I love rivalry week, man. It's going to be fun. Fun games. This is all on Friday. Are you still a Black Friday shopper? No, that's not your thing anymore?
Try to get it done ahead of time. I'll take a deal whenever I can find one.
I'll be scouring the net, as they say, looking for a great deal.
You know what? If I can find a pair of boots like the ones you got on today,
oh yeah,
that'd be ideal.
They said it was going to be cold in Boulder, so I'm a California guy. So I had to dust the boots off.
I would say this is chilly. I wouldn't say it's cold.
Anything below 50 is cold.
From the 20, Juju Lewis back to work. He fires for his tight end, Zach Atkins, who's been coming on recently. A guy you like. He slipped free, and he gets it past the 40.
Well, I think so much attention's on Omarion Miller, the wide receiver, that I think Atkins can be another outlet for Julian Lewis. He's just been primarily a blocker at times, but I think he's got ability to catch the football as well.
Dallin Hayden stacked up right near the line of scrimmage. Another one of those weapons. Zach Atkins had 8 receptions in his last 2 games coming into tonight.
Yeah, look, he only had 15 on the year. So it's just like, it's a different offense for Julian Lewis, let's be honest. I think a lot of the numbers are kind of skewed because Caden Salter was the quarterback. It seems like Julian Lewis has spread the football around a little bit more. He's finding tight ends, he's finding Brown, he's finding Williams, but more importantly, his best target is Omarion Miller.
On second down, Lewis had that one batted down right near the line of scrimmage. It's incomplete and dangerous for Colorado.
Yeah, it looks like, I think it was 98 that came through, or 99 that came through. CJ Fight. A nice little inside TT game. A little twist by both inside tackles, and getting the right hand up was Fight.
Super experienced junior defensive tackle. He is the anchor of everything they do. Third down and 9. Lewis checks it down. Joseph Williams can't get much around the former Buff Kendrick Breedlove, just 2. It's 4th down, and Colorado's got a punt.
Arizona State defense again rising to the challenge. They've just been very stingy. They don't get a ton of sacks. They don't get a ton of pressure. But man, they force the quarterback to have to throw underneath. And what do? They come tattoo, right? They come make the tackle before the line of game.
Yeah, they got one of the lowest blitz rates in the country, but they can affect the quarterback with 4 very often, and they don't break a whole lot. David Greaves gets away a good one to Sample at the 10. Slipped away from a couple and takes it past the 25. Nicely done by the redshirt freshman wideout Zachariah Sample. So again, for Arizona State, here's what's on the line. They're sitting at 5-2 in the Big 12. We've been harping on it all night with a win, 11%. So you're saying there's a chance for Jeff Sims and the Sun Devils. The best path does involve help starting tonight from Cincinnati, who's trailing BYU at last check.
Yeah, 20-7 right now. BYU up on Cincinnati.
So that would make things even more difficult.
Yeah, but Arizona State just has to win out. You win out, and then you got to get a little bit of help. But the bigger thing is just take care of what you can take care of, which is winning your football game.
Malik Brown springs to the second level, goes hurtling, dropped the football. Harge has it, and it is another takeaway for the Buffs.
There's a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Colorado.
More carelessness with the football from Arizona State.
Yeah, that's just a drop by Brown. Now Slaughter came in late and hot, so you got both guys coming, but he just drops the football. I think he's trying to brace himself for jumping in the air.
Recovered by Colorado.
See, he jumps in the air, didn't really need to jump, but because he's trying to brace himself on the way down, drops the football.
Colorado has been unable to capitalize off these turnovers. Can they change that neck?
We're here with head coach Kenny Dillingham. Coach, message to your team to finish this one.
I mean, we have 3 turnovers. We're 0-3 in the turnover ratio. I mean, you're not going to win many games like that, and we're not playing like a team that deserves to win right now. We got to fix that in the 4th quarter.
Thank you, coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's 4. Robinson had the fumble in the first. Sims an interception in the second. Sims a fumble in the third. Brown a fumble in the third. You may have just heard the announcement from our referee, Kevin Marr, that they're going to have 4 seconds on the clock for the end of the third. They were getting that sorted out on the fumble recovery from Isaiah Harge.
Thank you.
So Kenny Dillingham's end of third quarter interview happens before the end of the third quarter. And then we'll just start the fourth quarter. You got all that?
I got all that.
Okay.
Great job, partner.
Thanks. Glad you're with us.
False start, though. So we got to do it again. 5 yards behind. Or 5 yards move back.
False start. Offense number 8, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's on Joseph Williams. And you've been talking about drive starters for Colorado, and that hurts the Buffs.
Just delays our third quarter much longer.
We might get there at some point. By the way, Ronald Coleman has checked in. He's a sophomore wide receiver, 5'9", 160 pounds. I saw him a little bit at walkthrough yesterday. He is lined up at the side. Juju Lewis through the progression. Lewis toward the sideline, and Miller came back to the football, made the catch, but it's a loss of 2. And now we hit the end of the third quarter, and we will keep it right here.
Yeah, it's the short walk as they go from less than 5 yards away. So they go from one side of the 50 to the other. Quick.
You don't see this very often.
No, not at all. And I'm loving every bit of it.
It's Big 12 after dark. I mean, why wouldn't we have this?
Oh, we get a 1-minute break, too. There you go.
I guess so. News to all of us.
So what do you want to see in the fourth quarter?
Can you capitalize on turnovers if you're Colorado?
Yep.
It has not happened yet, and they are trying to find a way to do that because Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham, so frustrated by him. There have been 4 of them, and they've very often been at the start of drives. This was in the first. This is man-man Robinson, second play of that drive. Then Sims, first play of this drive in the second. Sails one. John Slaughter, the interception. Third quarter, you said it. Sims just caught in between, trying to do something with the football. Give it away to Sean Myers on the first play of that drive, and then Raleek Brown going to the hurdle there.
Yeah, no need for that. Trying to get on SportsCenter, I get it, but you're better off just running the football, not jumping in the air, putting yourself in that situation. I do want to see this, though. Fourth quarter moment here for Julian Lewis. True freshman quarterback. These are the types of moments and things that you want to see from him where he can grow as a young quarterback. Can he lead his team from a come-from-behind victory here in the fourth?
See our game summary with Jeff Sims and Julian Lewis, a couple guys who did not begin the season as their team's starting quarterbacks. Second down and long, and Lewis is dropped. Justin Watley gets home. It is another sack for Watley.
Oh, man, watch this by Watley. He's going to be on the left side of the screen, and he just beats our guy Kareem Harden at left tackle. He just goes and runs the hump, and he gets to Lewis for the sack.
4 sacks, 10 TFLs for Brian Ward's defense. Third and 23, Sincere Brown, he can scoop. He's got a cowboy. Sincere Brown with a first down and plenty more.
Nice job by Brown here. Honestly, Mike, this looked like a punt return because it's like he got the football and he's trying to go to the middle and he realizes, oh, wait, the wall's to the right. So he turns this into a punt return, gets to that wall, and that's where the yardage came from. Nice blocking up front. And Sincere Brown making a big play.
It's third and 27 for the Sun Devils defense last week. Third and 23. That gashes him right there. And here is Coleman. He drops the football. Scooped up by Keith Abney. We got turnovers all over the place. Ronald Coleman before tonight had 1 snap all season offensively.
And nobody touched him. So he just dropped the football. There was no hit. There was no arm in there knocking the ball out. He just loses his feet, stumbles to the ground, and drops the football. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's the story of this game. Turnovers on both sides, but that one, that's an unforced turnover right there by the Colorado offense.
Again, a guy who had never touched the football before right then in his 2-year college career. You got 4 running backs on the roster, but it was Coleman who got the opportunity there, and that is a backbreaker for Colorado.
Yeah, backbreaker. just trying to give a guy an opportunity here in the fourth quarter. And a critical mistake for the Colorado offense.
Malik Brown, they go right back to him, and he sprints to midfield. Chased by Tion Parks. Brown all the way, touchdown, 88 yards. A measure of atonement from Malik Brown.
And just watch the blocking up front. You get guard pulls, you get a little bit of everything. And you get the tight end Anderson, who also came around for the big play. So watch, you get Stewart, you get Anderson, a couple of blocks, and he shot through a cannon. We saw Ralphie run, but they haven't seen Malik Brown run into the end zone for the touchdown.
Officials congregating here. Saw maybe a horse collar at the end of that. There was no flag down on the longest play of the season from Arizona State. What a response from the hurdle fumble from Malik Brown, who just has a different level of explosiveness.
And if you remember after the fumble, he kept saying, hey, my bad, I got it. My bad. Remember, he tapped his chest a couple times, said, hey, that's on me, I'll get it back. And boy, did he get it back.
Now we had a discussion between the officials right near the corner of the end zone. We've got an official who was taking off a jacket and putting on a jacket along the sideline. So maybe they're getting their personnel aligned here, and maybe a new official stepping in.
Yeah, you know, we've seen this now. I saw it in the NFL on Thursday night. Referee went down with an injury. So we've seen officials getting rotated in, substituting for guys. Wow.
Malik Brown has rushed for 226 yards. Heinz Ward, do you like that? The ball's out. Colorado's got it. Sideline Malik Brown. Touchdown Sun Devils. Across the middle, Eusebio. Touchdown Arizona State. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Geico. Forks up, Sun Devils up by 11 on Colorado early fourth quarter, and this has been the Malik Brown show. 19 carries, 226 yards and a touchdown, and a 33-yard touchdown grab as well that we showed you on fourth down. Quentin Gibson runs it out of the end zone and doesn't even make it to the 15. He gets leveled. Well, if someone's trying to keep up with Malik Brown, it is going to take top-end speed, and we hope all the officials are okay right now.
Oh, man, watch our official right here. Because we were wondering with the little huddle after the play, and our official pulls up with the hamstring. That's how fast Malik Brown is. And so the officials had to huddle up. Now, in college football, there is an alternate official on hand. So, takes his warm-up off, goes right into the game. That's how you do it in college football. NFL, they went from 7 to 6 on Thursday, so they don't have an alternate official, only in the playoffs. So now we got that clarification of why we had to stop at your play. The alternate official now in this game.
To the sideline, that is incomplete from Juju Lewis for Omarion Miller. Yeah, in all seriousness, we hope for a speedy recovery there and for this Big 12 crew. Colorado down by 11 early on in the fourth.
And this is kind of the danger territory now, Mike, because when you're down 11 points, you kind of almost are one-dimensional. You're not going to run the ball much. And so you're Arizona State, you start thinking about your best pass rush moves.
He brings some pressure here on Lewis, who got rid of it off the fingertips of Omarion Miller.
He got hit.
We told you Arizona State does not blitz much. They brought the heat here, though, on Lewis.
And Clayton Smith, number 10, he's the one that got the hit on the quarterback. And again, it's that time. It's sharks in the water right now. That's what we call it. You call it sharks in the water because you know it's passing situations. So now Arizona State's defense showing pressure looks, just trying to confuse the O-line.
On third down, Lewis at the feet of his running back, Dallin Hayden. There is a flag down.
I think they get hands to the face.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face. Defense number 95. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Good call by you on Justin Watley.
Yeah, it was late in the down. So I'm looking at the quarterback in the pocket. What I see is the rush is getting close and offensive linemen's heads going backwards.
And so that helps out Colorado. This does not. End of the incompletion 2 plays ago. Watch the end of this. Omarion Miller, who then reached down at his upper left leg. And he's already been playing with a hand injury on his left hand. First set of downs, Dallin Hayden searching for space off the left side toward the 30 for 2.
So now we'll see the status of Omarion Miller. Looks like he may come back into this game. And there he is on the field again. So just off for a couple plays. He's right back out there, but he's a warrior. He wants to be out there. He's got NFL potential. And a guy who just wants to be out there for his team.
He's been targeted, Kirk, 10 times in this game. 3 catches for 35 and a touchdown. Hayden again left side. To the 34, it's a 4-yard pickup. 3rd down and manageable coming.
It's a great spot right here for Julian Lewis to try to find something. And the way that the pocket has been collapsing, has to use his legs a little bit. I know he's not a runner. He's not a guy that wants to run and go pick up yards, but this is an opportunity right here. If they drop back in zone, that he can take off and run if the throw's not there.
Lewis in rhythm on the out pattern, and Williams got popped at the end of a high throw with 4th down coming.
Wow, what a hit. And that was, I know Williams said I got hit in the head. Let's see the end of that play. That's a defenseless receiver. I don't see any indicator that looked like Boogie Wilson with the hit.
And Keyshawn Elliott, the linebacker over there as well.
That's a tough throw for the quarterback, though. You're trying to get that in between the linebacker and the safety, bear down. I don't know if that's why I want to go with the football on 3rd and 4. You're just trying to keep the chains moving. He tried to get a big play.
Still got 12 minutes to go, so Deion Sanders does punt it away on 4th down and 4, deep in their own territory. And Damon Greaves drops the sand wedge at the 25. Arizona State has created some breathing room in Boulder.
Got a couple of late scores coming down, late games coming down to the wire here.
In Boulder, Colorado, Mike Monaco, Kirk Morrison, Don Davenport, our entire crew with you. Kanye Udo, straight up the middle, physically finishes a run at Preston Hodge. Got a marker down.
And a helmet on the ground, too. You got helmets flying, markers flying.
It's been this kind of second half.
It has been.
We got an official who unfortunately got injured. We had a 3rd quarter that was prolonged.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 92. 15-yard penalty. First down. Number 58 is allowed to stay in the game due to the helmet foul.
So it's on Anquin Barnes. You see the 5th-year senior defensive tackle. It allows the Sun Devils' right tackle, Max Ihanachor, to stay in.
Yeah, right there in the middle of the screen. He's trying to fight off the double team or the pushback. They're trying to collapse everything down, get a couple of pullers. He's got that hand up right there on the face mask, pulled. That's where the helmet came off.
So the ball in midfield for Arizona State. Udo spun down by Reggie Hughes. Talked about the possibilities in the Big 12. If BYU hangs on and beats Cincinnati, there's still a path for Arizona State. It involves them winning this game, then winning Friday's Territorial Cup.
Right.
But they would need help. They would need either, in addition to those wins, a BYU loss, playing UCF next weekend, or a combo of 2 other losses, Texas Tech at West Virginia and Utah against Kansas. So they would need a ton of help if BYU is going to finish off Cincinnati tonight.
Yeah, all those scenarios, and the easiest scenario is just win. Just win your games. You do that, you got a great opportunity.
Another gash gain from Raleek Brown, who banged off of Isaiah Harge. Arden Walker in on the stop, 14 more, and it is a career high in total yardage, rushing yards for Raleek Brown. Took another big shot, he asks out.
Yeah, he's just doing a great job of showing vision as well. He's creating opportunities for himself, going one way, letting the defense overcommit, cutting it to the backside, and just getting positive yards.
So Kanye Udo checks back in. The Sun Devils content to run clock. Udo with a cut. Udo got a block downfield, and he tumbles down near the 10. 25 more in the ground game has been massive for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, because Marcus Arroyo just said, you know what, I'm just going to have multiple pullers each play. So he's pulling guards, tackles, centers, tight ends, getting multiple blockers at the point of attack. And right now, Colorado has not adjusted, and that's why you've seen these explosive runs by the Arizona State offense.
And then it's also sort of turned into a war of attrition. And Arizona State has been punishing late after Colorado had its chances off the Sun Devils giveaways.
There's a couple pullers again.
Udo lowered the helmet on Hodge, takes it down near the 2. And these are statement physical runs from Arizona State.
Yeah, just watch. Here comes the pullers. Got 1, 2, and then here comes Udo. Right? Downhill. He runs right through Hodge. Wow. So now you go from the passing game that we saw a little bit from Arizona State, but this is big boy bully football right here as we get down into crunch time in the 4th.
12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. Arizona State does that the second most in the country. Udo, straight ahead, touchdown. More dominance with the ground game for the Sun Devils.
This time they don't use pullers. They just go right at you, right into your living room. It's just downhill, shoulder square. Stop me if you can. This time, Kanye and Raleek, Udo and Brown showing off here in the 4th.
Buffs fans file out. Sun Devils fans chant ASU in Boulder. 178 rushing yards for Arizona State. That's just in the second half. 297 for the game. 11-win season for Kenny Dillingham, trying to grab an 8th win now in year 3. This one goes for a touchback. A pretty good night for Raleek Brown.
You just felt like this was an opportunity for Raleek Brown on the road to just really have an impact on this football game. And I think a lot of it has to do with Jeff Sims and his turnovers today. Forced Marcus Arroyo to say the guy who you trust the most with the ball in his hands is Raleek Brown. Now, he had a turnover himself, but I think he's kind of made up for it, right? You feel like that?
Absolutely has. 88-yard run. He's the 3rd player this year to go 200-plus on the ground, 30-plus receiving in a game. Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love did it, and Georgia Southern's O.J. Arnold. Big day for Raleek. Juju Lewis pulled it, and nearly a fabulous interception from Jordan Crook. Don.
Guys, I want to point out that Kenny Dillingham challenged his offensive line back at the end of the 3rd quarter. He told them, dominate the block. You are so close up front. You're right there. How about that O-line doing it in the 4th quarter, too?
Good big-time stuff from Arizona State, trying to put it away. Michael Welch on the ground for 3. What do you make of Arizona State overall? How they've persisted, they've been resilient, they've battled injuries all season long.
Yeah, and they're at the right time. They're getting Jordan Tyson back. I think we haven't talked about him a lot, too, as well. He's very much a part of what they want to do offensively. Another week for him to recover, and maybe you add more to his plate offensively. But the story has been what they've done defensively. They've created turnovers, they've made some plays, and they've sacked the quarterback.
Lewis still with time, running out of it. Lewis on course, downfield. He wants Atkins, and it's incomplete. Just trying to create something when nothing was there. 4th down.
Here's offensive line. He's got to protect himself, laying it down. Just throw that ball away. He's just right now, the young quarterback, growing pains. You're going to go through those. So you just don't want to lose that confidence. Julian Lewis, very confident young quarterback. But he's going through some growing pains early on in his college career.
And Arizona State has really picked things up here in the 4th, like Don said. 14-0 is the margin here in the 7 minutes so far in the fourth quarter alone. Play clock was winding down, and we'll get a timeout taken by
Arizona State.
Kenny Dillingham.
30 seconds.
You know, we were talking about their season.
Right.
Kenny Dillingham said to us this week, it hasn't been clean, hasn't been pretty. He said it's actually pretty stressful. He said it's why I'm going bald with how this season's been.
Well, I think the bigger question and the bigger conversation is one in which Kenny Dillingham has to talk about every single week. Is that there are a lot of job openings in college football, and everyone wants to know every time there's an opening, whose name gets thrown in. Kenny Dillingham.
This is what he said after last week. I was never leaving. I never said I was leaving. This is home.
I just think that's what he's put himself into. He's put himself in the category of there's a higher opening available. Kenny Dillingham's name is being thrown out there, but he feels he's at home.
24/7 Sports had reported last week that Dillingham went into multiple position rooms, said to his team that he would be back next season. Done.
Exactly what he did. He's one of the most transparent coaches that we've come across, guys. And safety Miles Rouser told me the second those social media reports started coming out last week, coach was going room to room to address it. Came flying into the secondary room. They were watching film with Coach Ward. He said, hey, if you see the reports, I'm not going anywhere. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. And then poof, he was gone to the next position group room.
That's how Kenny Dillingham operates.
How he works.
Is not short on energy. He is direct, and he is transparent.
Yeah, and look, what he's built in his 3 seasons right now at Arizona State, the success from last year, and it could be the repeated success again this year. He's on a lot of coaching lists, but he's not going anywhere, he says.
3 for Raleek Brown. He's 35 years old. He was raised in Scottsdale, graduated from Arizona State in 2013. Got his first college coaching job at Arizona State. He and his wife, Bree, they share a backyard, basically, with Kenny's sister. And then Kenny's mom lives 3 houses down the road.
And I'm telling you, to have a babysitter in mom's locally, trust me, I understand.
There's about to be 5 kids that Kenny's mom can help keep tabs on.
I understand. Babysitters are hard to find, Kenny.
Second down, Brown skips through and then broke a tackle. Raleek Brown is just playing around, and then smartly he goes sliding down, avoids a hit. I mean, he just skips his way into runs.
I just think that he's gotten better with each run, right? And we saw him in the passing game earlier. I talked about that as well. Remember, he caught the touchdown pass that we've shown a couple times. Now he's got the run. He's in his bag today. He's not only one of their best rushers, but I think he's also their best receiver outside of Jordan Tyson.
He was a top 100 recruit. He flipped from Oklahoma to USC. He went with Lincoln Riley to USC for 2 years. He was there with Caleb Williams. They kind of moved him to a slot back wide receiver role in his 2nd year. And then last year, we mentioned a hamstring injury. Kanye Udo churns the legs. Another chunk gain. 3rd most rushing yards in Arizona State history for Raleek Brown. And Udo has helped out as well. About 255 for Raleek Brown.
Wow. I knew he was going to have an impact coming into this game, but I didn't expect that. And I think a lot of it is because of the quarterback, Jeff Sims. Jeff Sims had a couple of turnovers, but this has been the Raleek Brown show today. Receiving, rushing, blocking. He's done a little bit of everything. Just hasn't put a mouthpiece in today. He wears them on his gym shirt. He wears them on the helmet, but he never puts it in.
And sometimes week to week he changes which 2 he's got on there. Udo got taken down by Anquin Barnes. Late flag comes in and might get a face mask on the takedown. Well, Arizona State salting this one away. This has been impressive to watch how they have finished. Overcoming the turnovers that they've had tonight. Again, all 4 of them. Colorado could not cash in.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 92, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And then, since those missed opportunities for the Bucs, it's been nail in the coffin from Arizona State.
It has been. I mean, this game flipped on a fumble by the walk-on, former walk-on running back, Edwards. And then next thing you know, game got out of hand. Back-to-back scores, Brown, Udo, and now they're just trying to run out the clock and get ready for what's going to be an interesting territorial cup next week.
It sure is, against Noah Fafita in Arizona. That'll be back home for the Sun Devils in Tempe. Arizona at 8-3 overall, 5-3 in the Big 12. Man Robinson. Baylor made things interesting early on against Arizona today, but then Brent Brennan's team stirred to life. They put away Baylor. And that's going to be a big one on Friday.
A huge one. Those games always come down to, the rivalry week. We talked about it, man. You throw the records out, especially now because it has so much more meaning in terms of the Big 12 Conference Championship race. It's a must-win, obviously, for Arizona State, but Arizona's not going to let it happen easily.
4.5 to go for Jeff Sims and the Sun Devils. Sims the keep, and he spins down. For all of the effectiveness with the ground game for Arizona State, it's a good thing they haven't had to run Sims that much. A guy who ran it 21 times against Utah, 29 times against Iowa State, and last week 17 times against West Virginia.
Yeah, 81 yards last week against West Virginia, like you mentioned, and they needed all of that. It was a game that was close all the way down to the wire, 25-23. But this was a game that was really dominated in the fourth quarter.
3rd down and 6. Jason Brown Jr., redshirt freshman, is checked in, and he gets involved. Takes it to the 27. 4th down coming up. Well, we're keeping tabs on what's happening in Cincinnati as well. Looks like BYU is going to finish that one out. They're up 26-14, 40 seconds to go in the 4th. And so BYU will be 10-1 overall and 7-1 in the Big 12.
Wow. There's Bear Bachmeyer, L.J. Martin. We've got some. They're on a nice little run right now. Their only loss is Texas Tech, who they may see in a conference championship game. How about that?
Could be a rematch. Fake the flip on 4th down. Sims on the second effort. And where do they spot him? It's going to be close. Line to gain was the 24. And he's got enough for a 1st down. See the line to gain the 24. Second lunge here from Sims with enough.
Yeah, just enough.
That is a fitting capper with Arizona State doing it with some hard-earned yards on the ground. They've rushed for 334 as a team. Couple more pullers for Jason Brown, bouncing off Preston Hodge. And a nice run into the red zone. Another 1st down for Arizona State as we wind down to the 2-minute timeout. Impressive response from Arizona State to the turnovers and some game pressure. And Kenny Dillingham and the Sun Devils finishing it off in Boulder. Diehards still here at Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. This tonight, lowest attendance, right around 43,000 of the 3-year Deion Sanders era. He talked after their last game. He said, from here on out, this is about roster management. He said, and coach management. He said, understanding what we're going to do going forward. He said, I promise there are going to be some changes. Reiterated that to us as well. Said, there are going to be some changes probably on the coaching staff. Man Robinson straight ahead. So I ask you, Kurt, what's next for Colorado?
I think you're just looking for consistency. You try not to make excuses, but this was a year that you really look at what they lost from a year ago. You lose a Heisman Trophy winner in Travis Hunter. Shedeur Sanders goes to the National Football League, and they never got that same production back at the quarterback spot and maybe at the wide receiver spot. Now, Amari Miller here has been great this year, but they lose a couple of running backs. And Coach Prime said it to us. I'm just looking for consistency, and they have not had that this season.
You feel great about the quarterback, like you said, in Juju Lewis. Even though it didn't look awesome for the offense tonight, Juju 16 of 35. But again, 5-star guy. His teammates have talked about. They hope recruits see what Lewis has done here these last few weeks, and that helps add a supporting cast for next year.
I think that's one thing they don't have to worry about, right? Like, they have the quarterback in Julian Lewis. He's the future of Colorado football. It's something they don't have to worry about like they did last year, trying to find the quarterback for this football team.
Flag down on another run from Man Robinson. Torian Carter and Arden Walker in on the stop.
And I think, Coach Sanders was very transparent with us and said, look, we've made some mistakes.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face. Defense number 92. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
That's his second one, Barnes, but they made some mistakes. And when you make mistakes in college football, they hurt the entire squad because some guys may not be the right fit. I think publicly they won't say it, but Caden Salter was not a good fit, I think, for this offense. Much different than what Shedeur Sanders was for this offense. And it's kind of funny that now the offense that's for Julian Lewis kind of replicates what they did a lot of with Shedeur Sanders.
First and goal, and Jason Brown goes straight ahead. Second effort, touchdown. First career touchdown for the redshirt freshman, Jason Brown.
It's just big boy football. They get 3 tight ends in the game, and it's downhill from Jason Brown. Just rolling on, and you see the excitement from his teammates getting that opportunity.
How awesome is that? He gets absolutely mobbed on the sidelines.
That's the joy of college football right there. Getting that opportunity late in the game. It doesn't matter when you get it, but what do you do with those opportunities, those carries? That's a moment that Brown will remember for forever.
Jesus Gomez tacks on the extra point with 1:20 to go. Nice moment here for Jason Brown.
I mean, look at the push by the offensive line. I mean, they're hanging out in the end zone. He's just following behind there. Just look at that celebration. Young redshirt freshman getting his first touchdown.
The guy was a highly regarded recruit coming in. Seattle native takes it in. 42 points on the board for the Sun Devils. First time they've put up 40+ since the Big 12 championship game last year against Iowa State. And what a job by Marcus Arroyo as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to change how he was doing things offensively when Sam Levitt went down.
Yeah, and that's the mark of a good play caller. Just saying, you know what, I got to do what's best for us. And it's really that 12 personnel. They had to do that also because Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, was out for some games. So to see how this offense has been able to adjust and to think that they're going to get an even healthier Jordan Tyson next week, this running game, it's going to be a fun matchup next week versus Arizona.
Gomez sends it away, and a fair catch signal from Quentin Gibson.
Scoreboard operator.
So 1:20 to go. Here in this fourth quarter, Arizona State has been convincing. We know that BYU got a win against Cincinnati on the road tonight. We welcome you upstairs here in Boulder. Closing out your college football Saturday. Thanks for spending it with us. Mike Monaco, Kirk Morrison. Arizona State's going to be an uphill climb next week, but it's impressive what they've done. And the Big 12, man, it's entertaining. We might be headed toward Texas Tech BYU again.
And then Texas Tech is kind of laying on their beds watching all the chaos happen this week. And they'll finish up next week. We'll see what BYU does next week. Look, it feels like Houston's still, they still got a heartbeat. Arizona State's got a heartbeat. It's going to be an enjoyable, fun last regular season weekend of college football.
How do you handicap it in the Big 12? I mean, Texas Tech, we've seen what their best looks like. Of course, their only loss to Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State. And they looked really good in that first game against BYU.
Or they're the highest ranked team in the Big 12. So I think they're the favorites right now, obviously, to be in the conference championship game. It's just who's going to be the matchup.
Off the ricochet caught by Joseph Williams after a gain from Zach Atkins as we hit this final minute.
Be interesting if it's BYU or Arizona State. We just know it's going to be a fun matchup. Two scrappy teams in the Big 12. And remember, people were so against realignment, but we've got some new matchups, some fun matchups, and think about how important the Thanksgiving weekend of college football will be.
Lewis on second down, running out of time. Got away from Smith and takes the check down to Welch. You know, the ACC is crazy as well. We might end up with Virginia and SMU playing in Charlotte in the ACC championship game if both those teams win next weekend. Get a stoppage here with 15 seconds
Second
remaining.
charge timeout, Colorado, 30 seconds. Clock operator, please put 18 seconds. 18 seconds on game clock.
And Booze freed the timeout being used with 18 seconds remaining. I mean, we mentioned how nuts the ACC is as well.
Wow.
I mean, how about this? So if Virginia beats Virginia Tech, rivalry game next weekend, if SMU beats Cal, those are your teams in Charlotte for a winner-take-all to go to the college football playoff.
Wow. And we've had a chance to see that Virginia team multiple times this year. Chandler Morris, their quarterback, Tony Elliott, head coach, is a very good football team that's battled through some injuries, but has found a way to put themselves in a situation where you win and you're in, right? Win and you're in scenario. Can you believe that?
It's crazy. I mean, after what happened to Georgia Tech earlier today, Georgia Tech team that has been right in the mix of this national conversation all year, they lost 42-28 to Pitt at home today on the flats. Here's a completion to Joseph Williams, and he's taken down at the 40. So that'll wind things down to close it out in Boulder. Arizona State wins it 42-17. Raleek Brown starred in this one, and the Sun Devils are still alive in the Big 12 race.
Coach Dillingham and Coach Sanders, both guys came in together to the Big 12 in terms of head coaching opportunities, so a lot of respect between those two coaches.
Let's go down to Don.
I know, I just asked Raleek if he was tired. 255 yards rushing for you. You average almost 12 yards per carry. Why were you able to be so successful on the ground?
Just my line did a good job. Shout out 1SB. Coach Arroyo just had good play calling, and I just trusted my process, and then that's it.
So you guys only led by 4 points heading into the fourth quarter. What changed in that quarter for you guys?
Just the mindset and just knowing like we got to go and we just got to keep pushing and just let's go. So it was just really a mindset, mental thing.
A win tonight, you guys stay alive for the Big 12 title game, Hines, and you got a big win next week against Arizona, big-time rival. So what do you take from this one and carry into next week?
Just keep running hard and trust the process and get the dub. Worry about the Wildcats. So we should get the dub though.
All right, congratulations. I see you looking over there. You want to go celebrate with your team, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Congrats.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.